45,000 fans this season. Quiet right now, everybody getting settled in. It's been wild here, though, the last 2 days, and they are sold out again. The final game of the regular season. The end of a 3-game series, one in which the Dodgers hope will be extended to 4 with a divisional playoff tomorrow. Houston against Los Angeles. Still to be decided. The Astros, as you can see, a 1-game lead. This, the final regular season meeting between these two teams. L.A. has won 9 of the 17 here at Dodger Stadium. Los Angeles has won each of the last 5. And this ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. By Gillette Track 2. To guys who use the twin blade Gillette Track 2, no other blade will do. By Pepsi Cola and your local Pepsi Cola bottler who invites you to catch that Pepsi spirit. And by Texaco, with over 66,000 employees doing their best at their jobs to keep your trust. Dodger Stadium in L.A. Hello again, everybody. I'm Al Michaels. We come down to the end of the regular season. It's quite simple. When this series began on Friday night, the Astros had a 3-game lead. The Dodgers needing a sweep in the series to force a divisional playoff. If they win today, they will do just that. And there will be 1 game tomorrow to determine the National League's Western Division champion. If the Dodgers do indeed win today, we will bring you tomorrow's game beginning at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific time. Of course, if Houston wins today, they will wrap it up. They will go on to meet the Philadelphia Phillies in the National League playoffs. You will see game 1 from Philadelphia, either L.A. or Houston at Philadelphia from the vet on Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And then on Wednesday, we'll begin our coverage of the American League Championship Series as the New York Yankees take on the Kansas City Royals at Royal Stadium in Kansas City. The pitching matchup today for the Dodgers, it will be Bert Hooton. And for Houston, perhaps their most effective pitcher over the past 6 weeks, right-hander Vern Rule. With me is Bob Uecker. And Uecker, when you look at the pitching matchup today, it's interesting. There's some question about Vern Rule, how far he can go.
Well, Al, a couple of nights ago on Friday, to be exact, Vern Rule was reaching for a towel on the bench and somehow ripped his index finger on a tack. Now, he's had 2 sutures taken, 2 stitches taken in the index finger on his pitching hand, and I just don't know how he can work today, Al. I've never seen a pitcher work with a blister, a cut on the pitching fingers. They've talked about him wearing a Band-Aid today. I've never seen a manager on an opposing team let somebody put a foreign object on a pitching finger, a bandage, a Band-Aid, whatever. I just can't imagine a guy like Bert Hooton pitching with sutures in his fingers. You said he's had a great year for Houston. He's won 12, lost 4, 3 complete games now, and we had one of them a couple of weeks ago against San Francisco. Against Bert Hooton today, 14-8. Here's another guy that's had arm problems this year at times for Los Angeles. The Dodgers, as you said, Al, must win.
So that's the matchup today. We've had high drama here both on Friday night and yesterday afternoon in the first 2 games of this series. In just a moment, we'll be back. The Houston Astros coming in on Friday night, needing just 1 win to wrap up the National League West, but they have really been through the ringer. Friday, the Dodgers winning on Joe Ferguson's 10th inning home run. Yesterday, a home run by Steve Garvey, the difference. L.A. has won the first 2. Let's go back and review the highlights. Game 1 in this series, Friday night, jam-packed Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. No score, 2nd inning. The Houston pitcher, Ken Forsch at the plate. Alan Ashby at second base. He had doubled. Forsch lines a Don Sutton breaking ball into center field for a base hit. Ashby rounds third, comes in to score. The Astros draw first blood and lead 1-0. Go to the bottom of the 4th now. 2 out. Rick Monday, who had doubled at second base. Forsch on the mound for the Astros. It's a breaking ball. Does Garvey into the corner and left where Jose Cruz cuts it off. But Monday rounds third, comes in to score. Dodgers tie the game 1-1. It stayed that way. Then 2 out. Bottom of the 7th inning. Pedro Guerrero, the Dodgers center fielder, drives one to deep left field. Watch Jose Cruz. Back to the 370 sign. Setting himself, leaping, and taking a home run away from Pedro Guerrero. That kept the score tied. We watch again as Cruz leaps above the wall to take the home run away from Guerrero. 8th inning now. Runners at first and third for Houston. 1 out. Alan Ashby, fly ball to left field. Dusty Baker gets set to make the catch and throw as Cedeno tags at third. Here comes the throw, and Cedeno is there ahead of it to put Houston on top 2-1. but the Dodgers then battled back. Runner at first base, Rudy Law. 1 out, 9th inning. Here's the key play of the game. Forshaw on the mound for the Astros. Baker hits a slow bouncing ball to the right side. Rafael Landistor with Law crossing in front of him. Drops the ball, juggles it, has no play. The Dodgers with runners at first and second. Steve Garvey hit the next pitch on the line to Cedeno for the second out. The Dodgers 1 out away from losing it. But then on a 1-1 pitch, Ron Say bouncing this one past Craig Reynolds out into center field. Law, the pinch runner, scoring from third, tied the game 2-2. L.A. stayed in it in the 9th and the 10th because of that man, Fernando Valenzuela, a 19-year-old out of Sonora, Mexico, who did the job. That strikeout ended the top of the 10th inning. And then, as the Dodgers came up in the bottom of the 10th inning, Joe Ferguson leading off for L.A. Ken Force still on the mound. Fergie drives it to deep left center field. Cesar Cedeno all the way back, leaps and can't get it. The Dodgers able to stay alive. Pulled it within 2 games on the home run by Ferguson, the former Astro. The Dodgers win it by a score of 3-2. As Ferguson said later, he was crying as he rounded second base. Same situation yesterday. The Dodgers needing a win to stay alive in the National League Western Division. Bottom of the 2nd inning. The Dodgers with 2 on and 2 out. Nolan Ryan, the $1 million a year free agent on the mound for Houston. Darrell Thomas at the plate. Thomas hitting it into left field in front of Jose Cruz for a base hit. Garvey rounding third, comes in to score. The Dodgers take a 1-0 lead. Go to the top of the 4th inning now. Jose Cruz at third base for Houston. 2 out. Art Howe at the plate. Jerry Royce pitching for L.A. Fly ball to center field. Pedro Guerrero misjudges it. Can't find it. Drops it in front for a base hit. Cruz crossing the plate to tie the game 1-1. Steve Garvey coming up for the Dodgers now. Bottom of the 4th inning. Nobody out. Nolan Ryan delivers, and Garvey hits that fastball over the wall in left field to give the Dodgers a 2-1 lead. Garvey with 3 hits yesterday has 199 on the season. The Dodgers protecting a 2-1 advantage as they went to the top of the 5th inning. And Houston threatened. They had runners at first and second. 1 out. The key defensive play of the game for L.A. coming up here with Joe Morgan at the plate. Royce delivers. Morgan, it's a line drive, speared by the leaping Davey Lopes at second, who flips to Thomas for the double play to get the Dodgers out of the inning. It stayed 2-1 as we go now to the 9th inning. 2 out. The Astros with runners at first and third. Gary Woods bouncing ball to the right side. The rookie Jack Percani, fine stop over to Garvey to end it, and the Dodgers have a victory. Jerry Royce pitching them to a 2-1 win over Houston. They've taken the first 2 games in the series. That was Friday. That was Saturday. Now we'll find out about Sunday. The Dodgers needing a win to force a divisional playoff tomorrow. Houston and Los Angeles coming up from Dodger Stadium. Smoggy and hazy, much like yesterday. The temperature, however, not oppressive. We're blessed with a day in the mid-70s. The capacity crowd rising at Dodger Stadium, and Sue Rainey approaching the mic in center field to sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof
over the years, the crowd here would have to be described as relatively placid, but certainly not the last two nights. And listen now as they build the crescendo building. The Dodgers are ready to take the field. It looked like an impossible task for Los Angeles. They needed to win 4. There, by the way, is Sandy Koufax, who works now with some of the Dodger pitchers. You saw Sandy moving down the runway. Dusty Baker is there. Davey Lopes is hurt, but he's there and in the lineup today. A bit of a patchwork lineup for Los Angeles. Remember, and thinking back, Reggie Smith is on the disabled list. He's been out for 2 months now, shoulder surgery. They're playing without Bill Russell. They're playing with Ron Cey, who has a hamstring pull. Dusty Baker has a hamstring pull. Davey Lopes has a pinched nerve in his neck, and he's had back problems this season. He has spent some time on the disabled list. So with paste and glue, Lasorda has held this club together, and now they try to continue on. They needed a 4-game sweep coming in, but right now all they need is 2, winning Friday, winning Saturday. The crowd waiting for the Dodgers to take the field. Joe Ferguson will do the catching today, along with Steve Garvey in your picture there on the left. The home run yesterday, and here come the Dodgers. Taking the field. At home, our defensive cut around with Steve Garvey at first base for LA. Garvey in every game this season. Davey Lopes at second, despite the bruised neck. Bill Bueller has created a brace for him, the Dodger trainer. There's Darryl Thomas, who's been a man on the spot in relief of the injured Bill Russell, who's been gone now for 3 weeks, and Ron Cey, who had the big hit on Friday in the 9th inning with 2 out, is at third. In the Dodger outfield, Dusty Baker battling a hamstring injury. He's in left. The man in center had a lot of problems yesterday with the smog and the haze. Pedro Guerrero. He spent time on the disabled list in August and early September. And around in right for LA is Rick Monday, who had 3 hits on Friday. So another veteran who has responded down the stretch. Ferguson was the big hero, of course, on Friday night with the home run in the 10th inning. That, by the way, is his only hit against Houston this season. And Bert Hooton on the mound for LA. It's been a bit of an up and down year for Hooton. Bob Uecker touching on it during the open. Some arm trouble from time to time this year. Nothing really serious. He's made all of his scheduled starts. And we'll see about today. Houston with Poole, Cabell, and Morgan hitting third. Cruz in the cleanup spot, and Cedeno batting fifth. Art Howe at first. Alan Ashby will do the catching. They have Craig Reynolds batting eighth at shortstop, and on the mound, Vern Rule.
And I think we might point out, Al, at the top of the telecast that both of these guys are working with 3 days rest. Matter of fact, Bert Hooton making his third start this year with 3 days rest. On May 14th, he started against Chicago at Los Angeles, lost 5-2, gave up 4 runs in 6 innings. Then on July 29th, a 10-2 complete game win. And as I said, Vern Rule also working with 3 days rest. You know, Al, the Dodgers, a normal day today. They took their regular batting practice. Houston did not take batting practice today. They occupied the clubhouse until about 20 minutes before the start of the game, when they took a little bit of infield, tossed the ball around. But the Dodgers, a very, very loose club.
And the Astros came with their bags packed, hoping to get a charter to Philadelphia after the game. We'll see. Here we go. Hooton against Terry Poole leading off, batting .282. 1-0 the count. The Astros, it's well known if you follow baseball, do not have very much power. They do not hit very many home runs. Poole has the only home run in Dodger Stadium this season by an Astro. 2-0 the count. He hit that in the first meeting here early in the year. And they've hit none in the subsequent 7 meetings. Hooton with a 2-0 delivery, missing outside. 3-0 the count.
That's the one thing with this Houston club, Al, in difference to Los Angeles. The Dodgers with those 2 victories in the first 2 games, both coming via the home run. As you look at Bill Verdon, Ferguson, and then Garvey. Very seldom you see the Houston Astros win a game in that style.
Terry Poole has drawn a walk, so the Astros with the leadoff man on. The Astros scratching and clawing for runs. Great team speed. Poole with 23 steals as Enos Cabell gets ready to stand in. Cabell batting .276 with 2 home runs and 55 runs batted in. 3 for 8 in the games Friday and Saturday. So Poole held on by Garvey away to his lead. First inning, nobody out. Poole goes. The pitch is a strike, and it looked like Ferguson had called for a pitch out. Joe was stepping out, and Hooton misread the sign and threw a strike, but Poole has the steal.
Exactly right, Al. Ferguson took that step outside to take the pitch out, then had to reach back in on the outside corner to take a strike from Hooton. And I believe that's what caused Ferguson to bobble the ball. But, Al, I was going to point out, the Astros have got to make things happen. You pointed out they play that type of baseball. They got to hit and run, steal. They can't lay back. The pitching has really held up in both ball games, but they just haven't scored.
An indication there that they think 1 run is very important early as Cabell tries to bunt Poole over, and now the count is 0-2. So Verdon concerned about getting the man over to third when really all Cabell has to do anyway is just hit a ground ball to the right side, swinging away.
Well, the last couple of times that we have seen Houston, we've had them 2 out of the last 3 weeks. Joe Morgan was in the leadoff spot. He's been dropped to number 3. And as you said, Cabell trying to get that runner to third. The Astros looking for 1 here in the first inning.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to Cabell. Got him swinging. Ran it up and in on it on a pitch that may have been out of the strike zone. So Enos strikes out.
Good fastball, Al. You're right. Up and tight on Cabell. And Hooton gets his first today.
1 down, and here is Joe Morgan. Morgan with a gimpy knee, so he has come out of the lineup during the course of the games Friday and yesterday. Morgan batting .246, somewhat misleading in terms of what he has meant to the Astros in 1980. Joe, one of those fellas, it's very difficult to measure the influence, the impact he has because of the type of fella he is and what he can mean off the field. And the types of things he does that don't necessarily show up in the statistics, especially in terms of your batting average.
I think yesterday a good indication, Al, as to the feelings of Joe Morgan. Some of the writers here in the Houston clubhouse yesterday asking some of the players about the momentum shifting toward Los Angeles, and some of them got upset. Morgan was the guy that settled things down. He said, I don't know what momentum means. He said, I'd rather be in our spot. We got the game lead.
It's interesting. A lot of the quotes in a situation like this are very predictable. Year after year when teams go down to the end. The Astros, though, in one man's opinion anyway, have looked very tight Friday and Saturday, especially at the plate. 1-0, the count on Morgan. I would have to think that they're going up there a little tentatively, just in watching the games Friday and yesterday.
Yeah, I got to agree with you, Al. And plus, the big crowds here at Dodger Stadium, no matter what the Dodgers have done in this series, they have screamed and hollered. And it's nice to be at home to finish up the season. The Dodgers trailing by 3 when they started.
1-0 pitch in there for a strike.
Every pitch that's thrown, a holler goes up from the crowd. The Dodgers took the field to a tremendous ovation.
It was quite a scene here on Friday night. The Dodgers with their backs up against the wall in the 9th inning, and the crowd chanting and cheering, and the Dodgers respond with a run to tie. That's a strike. Good off-speed pitch. Hooton, of course, throws that knuckle curve that drops straight off the table.
Very tough pitch to handle, Al. It really is. When he's got it going right, it falls off a table. The one thing that Hooton lacks, and we talked about this earlier, velocity. He's been tender at times, on and off during the season. Doesn't have that real good velocity that he's had in years past, but he's still got the good knuckle curve. Really a good curveball.
A check of the runner and the 1-2 delivery got him swinging. So Joe Morgan strikes out. 2 down in the first inning with Poole still at second, and up comes Cruz.
Maybe a little premature, Al, with the talk about lacking velocity on the fastball, because he got up and tight on Cabell with a fastball for a strikeout and rode one past Morgan for his second.
You wonder if they don't go up there perhaps looking for the knuckle curve, if they look for any one pitch from Hooton, something down. You can see Thomas moved over toward the middle to keep Poole close to second with Cruz at the plate. 0-1 the count. Jose having another fine year. An unheralded player, a man who is always up at or near or over 300. This year he's batting .305. However, just 1 for 9, as you can see in the first 2 games. He leads the team in runs batted in with 90. And he's led the Astros in each of the 3 previous seasons in that department. 1-1. Houghton prone, as you can see in that graphic, to some first inning problems. Poole at second, 2 down, first inning, no score. The Dodgers needing a win to force a divisional playoff tomorrow. The 1-1 to Cruz is nubbed foul. The plate umpire today is Doug Harvey. Andy Olson at first, Nick Colosi at second, Jerry Crawford at third. Harvey has a great reputation. I think if you were to take a poll, I'd bet you nickel that most of the players in the league would tell you if they could pick.
Years when I played, I always liked Harvey working behind the plate. He's awful consistent.
1 ball, 2 strikes the count. And the pitch is up and away. 2-2 on Cruz. There he is, Doug Harvey, veteran umpire, making his home in San Diego. He's been through this before. He's umpired in a lot of playoff games, World Series games, and back of the plate today in a key matchup. This is the only divisional race yet to be decided. It's New York and KC and the American League and Philadelphia in the National League East. Here's the 2-2 delivery, hit in the air to right center field. Moving over is Rick Monday, and he makes the catch. So a walk and a steal, but they strand Poole at second. No runs, no hits. League 1 after a half. It's Houston nothing. And the Dodgers coming up to baseball on the mound for the Houston Astros as we go to the bottom of the first. That's the way the Dodgers line up today. Lopes leading off, then Monday, Baker, Garvey hitting fourth, followed by Say, Guerrero, Ferguson in the 7th spot, Darryl Thomas, and the pitcher Bert Hooton. The Astros out on the field. Vern Rule on the mound with a record of 12-4. He has been, over the past 6 weeks, perhaps their most consistent pitcher. He is a good man to have on the mound today, but the big question, as we discussed earlier, the condition of the finger. Scratched by a tack, sutured, 2 stitches, and the men back of him right there. Howe, Morgan, Reynolds, and Cabell in the infield. The outfield left to right of Cruz, Cedeno, and Poole, with Ashby back of the plate and Vern Rule having his best season by far in the bigs.
Really going to be interesting, Al, to watch Rule work. He does not have a Band-Aid on the fingers. You said he's got the sutures, 2 stitches taken. I just can't imagine a guy trying to throw a baseball, and he uses a cross-seam style at times for a sinking-type fastball, and breaking stuff naturally would have a tendency to rip something like that. I know how bad it is with a blister. There's the index finger on the pitching hand of Bert Hooton, 2 stitches taken. Correction on Vern Rule. And I just really, again, I hate to repeat myself, but I can't imagine a guy trying to throw a breaking ball and spin that baseball with a finger like that.
When Rule went down to warm up, and all of a sudden,
he may be done right now, Al.
Pitch, you can see that Rule is taking some time. Went to his mouth. He has to step off the mound, of course, to do that. They had Joaquin Andujar down in the bullpen with him as Rule was warming up. But actually, it's not Rule's problem here. That's Nick Colosi helping Joe Morgan adjust his sunglasses.
I was going to say the first pitch that he threw to Lopes was a breaking ball, and didn't know if it had anything to do with the finger yet or not. But as you said, it's Joe Morgan with the sunglasses.
We mentioned Andujar. Now, he would be the man you would think would come in if Rule has to come out early. We'll see. Naturally, when you get down to this point in the season, your starters become relievers. When you've got 1 game to win, and that's the case in particular with the Dodgers, of course, and to a certain extent, Houston would obviously like to wrap it up today. You can see almost anybody come in from the bullpen. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Davey Lopes. Hit in the air to center field. Cesar Cedeno shielding his eyes with the glasses down and makes the catch. 1 out. If you saw yesterday's game, you knew that every fly ball to center was an adventure. Here at Dodger Stadium, with the smoke and the haze and the smog and a lot of fog this morning and the light-colored shirts back of the plate, if the outfield here were a runway, they'd close it. It's tough.
Rick Monday was saying during batting practice, Al, a Dodger fan who has been here for about 7 or 8 years out in the bleachers in right field, told a couple of the players after the game yesterday it was the first game he had been to where he hadn't seen a fly ball in the outfield in 7 years.
You can believe it. Rick Monday at the plate. A strike on the outside part to the chagrin of Rick. He said, no.
Well, we told you Harvey was good.
Rule thinks so. 1 out, bases empty. We're in the bottom of the first inning with no score. 1-1. Vern Rule is an interesting case. Came up with Detroit initially, released by the Tigers in March of '78. He was signed by Houston for their farm system. Then last season he had back surgery. Came back in September, and he's had a fine year in '80. Curve in there. Good pitch. 1-2.
That's strictly his style, Al. He's got a good sinking fastball. He's not overpowering. He works the corners. Good breaking ball. Good changeup.
Got him swinging. So no problems with the first 2 hitters with the damaged finger. 2 down in the first inning. And here comes Dusty Baker with a slight hamstring pull. Baker, after getting aboard on Friday night, he hit the ball that Rafael Landeskog juggled for the error. Key play in that game. Dusty had to come out for a pinch runner. So he's playing taped up today. Having a great season. One and oh. One and 1 the count on Dusty with Garvey on deck. Again, if the Dodgers win today, 1 game for the National League West title. Tomorrow, you will see it on ABC, 4 Eastern, 3 Central, 1 Pacific time. Playoff coverage beginning on Tuesday night in Philadelphia. Then on Wednesday afternoon, Game 1 in the American League Championship Series from Kansas City. Bouncer to short. Reynolds gathers it in and gets it. So Vern Rule sets the Dodgers down 1-2-3 in the first. And at the end of 1 in game 162 at Dodger Stadium, Houston nothing, Los Angeles nothing. Second inning at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. Al Michaels along with Bob Uecker. The Dodgers trying to stay alive. Houston trying to win it and get on a charter to Philadelphia. Cesar Cedeno to lead things off for the Astros. Cedeno, Howe, and Ashby. Cesar with great success, as you can see, against Bert Hooton this season. Cedeno hitting .308. He is tied for 5th in the league. By the way, Billy Buckner of the Cubs was 3 for 5 yesterday and goes in today with a 5-point lead over Keith Hernandez in the battle for the batting championship. Cedeno fouls it away. 0-1 the count. Tommy Lasorda loose as always before the game. Not so loose right now. Oh, 0-1. Cedeno tries to bunt his way on. That's a beauty. Save, bare hands, will be too late, and Cesar is aboard. Cedeno with a bunt single, taking advantage of Save, backed up at third.
There you see Say a couple of steps behind the bag. Now Cedeno dropping the bunt, and Say, as Al said earlier, bothered by a hamstring. There's the barehanded pickup. He makes a nice play. He just can't get anything on the throw, and Cedeno's got a base hit. That's what Houston's got to do, Al, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Got to make things happen. They're not going to do it with the long ball.
Cedeno leads the Astros in steals. He has 46. He's been caught 15 times. The Astros with 5 men with over 20. Five in the starting lineup. And also Landeskog with 23 would be the sixth man on the roster. He's not in the starting lineup today. Cedeno at first base. Cesar taking some extra time. Houghton ready now to work on Howe. And a throw over to first base. Cedeno that time with very average-sized lead. There he goes. The pitch is high. The throw to second, not in time. So Cesar Cedeno going on the first pitch and stealing his 47th base, and that's 2 steals off Ferguson today. Of the Dodger catchers, Ferguson would probably have the weakest arm.
Steve Yeager is the guy with the best throwing arm, Al. As you look at Cedeno going to second, that throw taken by Darrell Thomas, he beat it easily. From another angle, you'll take a look at the jump again by Cedeno. Digging for second. Another thing with Ferguson, Al, he takes a long time getting rid of the baseball.
Houghton now with a 1-0 pitch to Howe. Fouled away. 1-1. The Dodgers going with Ferguson. They have 2 other catchers. Yeager, you mentioning Steve, and also the rookie who's done a decent job for them this season, Mike Scioscia. With the chips down, they go to Fergie. Cedeno at second and nobody out. Similar situation as we had in the first inning, and a bunt, and a good one. That'll advance the runner, and he's safe at first as Houghton can't come up with it. So Art Howe is on. There was no question that would have gotten Cedeno to third, and then Houghton compounds the problem by dropping it. So Howe is aboard, and the Astros have runners at first and third, and it's scored as an error and a sacrifice for Howe.
Sacrifice and an error. Here it is again. Howe with a beautiful bunt, and Bert Houghton trying to make the barehanded pickup. If he makes the play cleanly, he's got a shot at Howe at first base. There's the bobble. No chance. 2 on. Runners at first and third.
Now Alan Ashby, the Astros switch hitting catcher. 253 collectively. He's batting .274 against right-handed pitching. Infield double play depth, and it's hit into left center field for a base hit. Cedeno will come in to score. Howe will test Guerrero's arm, and the throw is offline. The throw goes back to first, and they do not get in there. It was in time, but somehow Ashby was able to get in under Garvey's tag. So Houston leads 1-0 and still nobody out. Ashby with his 48th RBI and his most important.
Oh, and a big base hit by Ashby, but the challenge, Art Howe threw on Guerrero in center going from first to third. There's the throw, and now Say coming back to the bag at first. It was in time, but Garvey with a high tag, and Ashby got in.
So the Astros lead it 1-0 with Howe now at third and Ashby at first, and Craig Reynolds the batter hitting .219. It's been wild here for 2 days. Right now the atmosphere though is very church-like, very quiet. Infield double play depth except for Say. Ronnie is up at third. One and oh the count.
Really surprised, Al, that Art Howe took third base. There he is. And the runner at first, Ashby. Ball not hit that deep in left center field, and Guerrero's throw off target to Say, but the Astros trying to make things happen. And they are.
Houston leading 1-0 with Howe at third, Ashby at first, and the 1-0 pitch to Reynolds is fouled back. 1-1 the count. Bert Houghton, a Texan, now making his home here in Southern California, 30 years old. Houghton lifetime with 119 wins and 101 losses. 10th year in the bigs, broke in with the Cubs back in 1971. The 1-1 is up and in, ball 2. 2-1 the count. We have an effects mic in the Houston dugout near it. You can hear the cheering from time to time. The cheering's not coming from the stands, I'll tell you that. They've got a few Houston boosters here, but most of the noise you hear when something positive happens for Houston comes from that dugout. 2-1 the count. Nobody out. Runners at first and third in the second inning. Foul back, and the count is 2-2.
Look at the Dodger outfield, Al, against Craig Reynolds. Dusty Baker in left is playing Reynolds as a dead right-handed pull hitter, as if he would be a right-handed pull hitter. There you see Baker only about 20 feet off the line. Guerrero in left center, and Monday about 50 feet off the line in right. Reynolds having an off year. Pioneer for the Astros last year, only 219. Runners first and third.
2 balls, 2 strikes the count. The game slowly paced so far, but with so much at stake, it's understandable. Here's the 2-2 delivery. It's to right field on a line. Monday coming in. It'll drop for a base hit. That scores Howe, and stopping at second is Ashby. Reynolds drives in his 28th run. Lasorda will visit the mound, and it's 2-0 Houston.
Big base hit by Reynolds. He got an off-speed pitch and knocks in a run with a single.
Bobby Castillo is up and throwing in the bullpen as we take a look at the base hit again.
There it is again, a knuckle curve that time by Hooten, and Reynolds ran on it. We'll see Monday charge, but this ball drops in front of him and almost got by him. Right for the force at second base. That's going to be all for Bert Hooten.
Bert Hooten is coming out. Again, as we mentioned earlier, there's been no major injury to Hooten this season, but his arm has been a bit tender. And as a consequence, with so much on the line today, Laporta can ill afford to take any chances. He's got to go to the pen, so he goes early, and here comes Bobby Castillo. And again, we revert back to what we said in terms of you'll see a lot of fellas in situations like this coming in early. You would never see Castillo, or rarely see him, in the second inning of a regular season game.
You see a very unhappy Bert Hooten. He made mistakes with the breaking stuff. He picked up 2 strikeouts back in the first inning, both with fastballs, getting Cabell and Morgan. But here in the Houston second, one single by Cedeno. Howe reached on an air charge to Bert Hooten. Ashby a run-scoring single, and then the base hit by Craig Reynolds, driving in run number 2.
Bobby Castillo coming on for the 60th time this season. Good screwball. As a matter of fact, he taught that screwball to the Dodgers' 19-year-old left-hander, a fellow by the name of Fernando Valenzuela, who has shocked and stunned everybody with his performance down the stretch. And Bobby Welch has been placed on the disabled list for Los Angeles. It would incidentally be Welch's start today in this series, were he healthy. But he's gone, and so as a consequence, Bert Hooten was working today with only 3 days rest, which was odd. Castillo, his mark at home and the road, as you can see, he enjoys the cooking here. Actually, Welch, his turn would have been yesterday, but the Dodgers having to go to the 4-man rotation in the absence of Bobby, and as a consequence, Hooten coming back with 3 days rest instead of 4. So the Astros on top 2-0 in the second inning before right now a very quiet crowd at Dodger Stadium.
You know, I had a chance to watch both of these ball clubs over the last few weeks. The Dodgers in that series in Cincinnati when they swept the Reds, winning 3. Cincinnati coming back here 2 series later and sweeping the Dodgers. Saw Houston. Matter of fact, Vern Rule, when he almost had the no-hitter against San Francisco. Then on last Sunday, when Cincinnati stopped Houston in Houston, the Astros came back. There you see their road record and at home. 52, 55, 26 at home, 37, 43 on the road. They've had a tough time, and Al talked about that. The fact that they have really had a tough time here at Dodger Stadium.
Losing the last 5 here. The Dodgers with similar marks, home and road. They've won about 2 out of 3 at Dodger Stadium. So Castillo ready to work on Rule now. Up there to bunt. Lays it down. Castillo will go to third and gets him on the force. So they cut down the lead runner. Alan Ashby sliding in for the out. 1 away as Reynolds advances to second, and Rule is aboard at first and waving off the jacket on a warm and pleasant afternoon. See it again.
Here it is again. Not really that bad a bunt by Vern Rule, but a lot of credit to Bobby Castillo off the mound very, very quickly. And the throw to Say at third in plenty of time for Alan Ashby. So there's one away here in the Houston second. Al, I was going to say the Astros really battled back against the Atlanta Braves when they swept them.
Winning 3 in the Dome. 0-1 to count on Poole on the screwball from Castillo. Bobby has not allowed a run against Houston this season. He's worked 8 2/3 innings and make it 9 now, getting the out here without giving up a run to the Astros. 2 on, 1 out. And it's low. 1-1.
There's that screwball you were talking about a moment ago, Al. And he's got a good one.
Poole drew a walk in the first inning. Reynolds at second, Rule at first. Lined and hooking foul. So Poole got around on it, but too much. 1-2.
That's what happens with a high screwball. Normally you want it down and away from a left-handed batter. That's Danny Ozark in the Dodger dugout.
Danny will be a big help, of course, in the playoffs if the Dodgers get there. Managed the Phillies up until September of last year. Dallas Green, of course, now managing the Eastern Division champions. And isn't it interesting that 3 rookie managers, because Green would technically be a rookie in light of the fact it's his first full season, have won divisional championships this year. 2-2. The Yankees, of course, managed by Dick Hauser. Kansas City managed by first-year man Jim Fry. Green took over late in the season for Philadelphia. They're all going in. And their counterpart will be either Lasorda or Burden. Neither a stranger to playoff experience. The 2-2 delivery blowing away. Full count. Now let's see about the runners. Poole has struck out 51 times this season. 3-2 with 1 out.
I'm running them.
I think so too. Reynolds at second, Rule at first. There they go. And the pitch is up and away to load the bases. So Poole draws his second walk, and they're loaded up now for Enos Cabell, who struck out in the first. Reynolds at third. Rule is at second. And there is Poole. Enos Cabell. The Dodger infield double play depth. Cabell is one of the tougher men to double. Houston leading 2-0 in the second inning with the bases loaded and 1 out. In there, 1-1.
Good fastball by Castillo that time on the inside corner. Cabell's first time up, Putin struck him out on a high, tight fastball.
Honey.
Tell you, this is a critical stage of the game for the Dodgers. You can't let a game like this get out of hand. It's 2-0 right now. What they really need is a double play. A look at Monty Basgall, Tommy Lasorda, Red Adams, Bert Hooton. Dodgers already with activity again in the bullpen. Joe Beckwith has just gotten up. Here's the 1-1 pitch, fouled away and out of play off to the right. 1-2 the count.
There's that high fastball again to Cabell. Castillo, the pitch before, coming with a slider off the outside corner. There's Beckwith in the Dodger bullpen. And right back with a fastball up around the letters. And the Houston Astros dugout. 2-0 they lead. That's Joe Negro.
Crowd responding now with Castillo ahead on the count. Bobby ready for the 1-2 pitch to Cabell. Foul back. If we do go to a divisional playoff tomorrow, the Dodgers will go with Dave Goltz. They're off and on right-hander with the big contract. signed as a free agent. The Astros will counter with Joe Niekro, who's won 19.
And he would be pitching with 3 days rest out.
Castillo to the plate, 1-2, hit in the air, down the line, and curling and dropping foul. So the count remains a ball and 2 strikes with Morgan waiting on deck. Interestingly enough, there has never been a divisional playoff in the National League. They started the system in 1969 when they broke both leagues into divisions. There has never been a 1-game playoff in the National League, and there's only been one in the American League. That was the Yankee-Boston game in 1978 at Fenway, won by New York. Yankees that year going on to win the World Series. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Got him. A big out.
Boy, a great screwball that time by Castillo, and the bottom fell out of that baby. Second strikeout against Cabell today. Oh, that was a beauty. Bottom dropped out of that baby. Here it is again. There's a screwball. Bad pitch in the dirt, and Cabell chased it.
So 2 down. Castillo will get you to do that. He's the type of pitcher who will bounce one up occasionally, and you'll go fishing for it.
Got that great motion, Al, when he throws that screwball. He looks like he's coming at you with a fastball. He's got the great motion as a pitcher would like to have with a changeup, off-speed stuff. You're out in front of it.
Joe Morgan, 0 for 1, struck out in the first inning. 0-1. Bases are loaded with Reynolds, Rule, and Poole. Strike 1 pitch. 1-1. Morgan's not swinging right.
He's not, Al. We were out here early this morning, about 10:30 this morning, as a matter of fact. Joe Morgan headed out toward the batting cage underneath the left field stands here at Dodger Stadium, limping noticeably to take some extra cuts.
Checks his swing, and it's low. 2-1.
And the same holds true for Davey Lopes. He was out here, as a matter of fact, in the batting cage, taking his regular batting practice, but in shorts and a T-shirt. And Morgan went down for about 15 or 20 minutes. There's Davey Lopes.
Houston ahead 2-0. Bases loaded, 2 out in the second. And the 2-1 to Morgan is popped up in foul ground. Ferguson coming back to the screen, makes the catch. So Bobby Castillo comes out of the bullpen and keeps the Dodgers right in it. The Astros had a chance to break it wide open. Get 2 runs, 3 hits, leave 3. Middle of the second, 2-0 Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. Houston on top, leading 2-0. And Vern Rule taking his warm-ups. That's the man he'll face leading off. Steve Garvey, Ron Cey, and Pedro Guerrero will follow. Steve Garvey, the typical Garvey-like season. Steve needing just 1 hit today to reach the 200 mark. And 4 for 8 in the first 2 games here thus far this weekend. Garvey attempting to reach the 200 mark for the 6th time in his career. And if he doesn't, he'd be only the 14th man to do it. Among those who are active right now, only Pete Rose has had 6 200-hit seasons. Rose has had 10. 0-1 the count on Garvey. 0-1.
You know, Al, the first couple of games in this series, and watching Steve Garvey play for so many years, he showed some emotion on a couple of occasions. That run-scoring double, as you look at Tommy Lasorda knocking in a run. It's one of the few times that I've ever seen Garvey show that kind of emotion. After he double driving in a run, he gave a big salute at second base, and then the home run, took off the batting helmet and threw both arms up in the air here at Dodger Stadium. This kind of a series will do it to anybody. I don't care how low-key you are.
1-1 on the man that the Dodgers are starting to refer to as their Mr. October. Reggie Jackson is already off to a blazing start in the month. And we'll see Reggie in Kansas City on Wednesday. The Yankees and the Royals. Garvey leading the league in hits. And he's the only man with a chance going into today's action to get 200. Bunted. Cabell can't make the play. And there it is. Number 200. Steve Garvey has done it again. Here it is.
Well, he did it with a long ball yesterday to beat Nolan Ryan 2-1. To lead off the Dodgers' second. A beautiful bunt. No play by Cabell, and that's base hit number 200 for Steve Garvey. And again, saluting the fans here at Dodger Stadium. A standing ovation for the Dodger first baseman.
Garvey responsive to the acclaim of the crowd. So the crowd still on its feet and still chanting, and Ashby will go to the mound. As Rule gets set to work now on Ron Cey. This game sold out. The Dodgers will wind up drawing close to $3.2 million, and they'll go over that if we have a playoff tomorrow. Cey at the plate, Garvey at first base. Vern Rule pitching the biggest game of his career. The man whose lifetime record is only 500, 42 and 42. 1-0 to count on Cey.
Rule is one of those pitchers, Al, that just won't give in to a hitter. If he's going to work the outside corner, stay on the corners to you, as he tried there on Ron Cey, he's going to stay that way. Very seldom does he make a mistake. Control is excellent.
Rule averaging only 1.66 walks per 9 innings. That's great. That's fourth in the league, as a matter of fact. Crowd getting impatient. Cey. 1-1.
He came right back, Al. He missed off the outside corner with a breaking ball. Came right back. Cey missing. He's such an easy guy to catch, Al. People like Vern Rule, who, as I said earlier, don't have the overpowering type fastball. Sinker, slider, curve, and a change. And he's always around there.
22.
We had talked about Doug Harvey being one of the best behind home plate, but that one may have been a bit low. Lasorda thought so, as did Ron Cey. Yeah, but he's a good one. Doug Harvey. That was a sinking fastball from Rule that time, and Ron Cey still upset at the call by Doug Harvey.
Garvey at first base and nobody out. Bottom of the second inning. The Astros leading 2-0. Rule keeping him close nonetheless. That expression never changes. Bill Burton looks the same, hell or high water, I'm telling you. 1-2 pitch. Ripped foul. That out in front of a breaking ball, and the count remains 1-2.
One of the mistakes I was talking about that Vern Rule seldom makes. Hanging curve that time to say, but that's a tough pitch to hit in fair territory. Al, that ball is off the inside corner. A hitter sees it so very well, but it's a tough pitch to hit fair.
The 1-2 to say. Hit for right field. And Poole is there. One gone. They take care of Say, and Pete Guerrero coming up. Terry Poole, that's a tough position to play on a day like today. Actually, at this particular moment, the entire outfield is difficult because here at Dodger Stadium, you've got the wedding cake type architecture with the decks back of the plate, the light colored shirts.
You know, as you look in the outfield today, Al, it doesn't seem quite as bad as it was yesterday. The outfielders said yesterday it was really, really tough.
Guerrero waiting at the plate. And again, Rule moving Garvey back.
Al, getting back to the finger injury to Vern Rule. And again, we don't know just how bad it is. We said he had 2 stitches taken, but all those sort of throws to first base, I don't know, they would seem to be taking a toll on him, but he doesn't seem to be bothered at all.
He doesn't. There's no discernible difference between Rule today and the Rule we've seen of late. Ferguson is on deck. 0-1 the count on Guerrero. Garvey at first base. Popped up, right side. Poole coming on. Tells Morgan he'll handle it, and does. 2 down with Garvey still at first. And now we'll see Ferguson. Terry Poole, a lot of people think he may be the most valuable Astro this season.
He's had a solid year for him, Al. Watching that fly ball hit to short right field, watching Morgan when he took off and started running after the ball. Alley appears to be still limping and hurting a bit.
Shaky. Ferguson at the plate. Fergie with 9 homers, 29 runs batted in. And again, it's becoming almost automatic now. Every other pitch or so for Rule to go over to first base. With Garvey taking a relatively conservative lead, Rule goes over there again.
With only 6 stolen bases for the year, but Rule trying to keep him close.
Houston 2, Los Angeles nothing. Second inning, 2 out, and Garvey at first base. Curve missing. Ferguson only 1 for 17 against Houston this season, but what a one, huh? Friday night, 10th inning homer.
He got a hanging slider when he hit that home run the other night, Al. A little surprised that Rule came with a breaking ball the first pitch to him. His sinker, probably the #1 pitch for Vern Rule. Let's see if he works him inside here. Ferguson likes to get his arms out, extended over the plate. I'll tell you, the guy who did that sew job on Vern Rule's finger must have used a zipper because he's not bothered at all. Nothing.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. Waves at a breaking ball. 1-1 on Ferguson. The Dodgers trying to get into the playoffs for the 3rd time in 4 years. The Astros trying to get into the playoffs for the first time ever. Curve missing. 2-1 the count. The Astros, remember last year they went right down to the end, finishing 2nd. They were right in the race until the final week of the season. Wound up the season a game and a half back of Cincinnati. This year they've spent a good part of the season in first place. The Astros, the Dodgers, and the Reds, good battle with the Reds falling by the wayside last week.
Token tossed at first that time by Rule. I just don't believe he liked the sign or the location, Al. The pitch that was called by Ashby, and Joe Ferguson now heading back toward the on-deck circle in the old pine tar rag. And Vern Rule just indicated to Ashby, he said, run me by a new set of signs. It was just a lob throw to first base, and many times the pitcher will do that. If he doesn't like location that you've given him, not only the sign, but the location. Maybe he may like the sign, a fastball, you may go inside, he wants to go outside, and he'll shake you off. You come back with the same sign, but to a different location. See what he does here on Ferguson now.
2-1 the count, 2 down. Garvey at first base, and again Burns going over there. The game is moving at a snail's pace. We played about 55 minutes, and we're in the second inning. Line to right field. Poole racing over, one-hands it. Poole started to come in and then drifted toward the line and put 3 nines in the scorebook here in the second after a single by Garvey leading off. No runs, 1 hit, leaves Steve, end of 2, Houston 2, and Los Angeles National Football League today. The Eagles have made it 4 out of 5 as they beat the Redskins 24-14. The Cardinals had an easy time of it with the Saints, winning 40-7, and the Steelers had a relatively difficult time of it with the Minnesota Vikings at Bloomington, but Pittsburgh has now won 4 out of 5, 23-17 over the Vikes. Al Michaels, Bob Uecker at Dodger Stadium, 3rd inning as Jose Cruz leads off for Houston, and Castillo misses outside, 1-0. Houston 2, Los Angeles nothing in the 3rd. Count even now at 1-1. Cruz fly to right in the 3rd. He'll be followed by Cedeno and Howe. 1-2. Two and 2 on Cruz.
Cruz, another guy that the Dodger outfield outplays to hit the ball toward the opposite field. The gap for him is in right center. A big gap between Monday and Guerrero out there.
Good Scroogie.
Boy, good screwball is right. Oh, the bottom falls out of that baby. Castillo picks up his 2nd strikeout.
1 out of the 3rd inning, and Cesar Cedeno is the batter.
Take a look at this screwball again. This is a beauty. Cruz right over the top of it. Saw Castillo bend that elbow the other way. Boy, you show those slow motion shots of a pitcher out releasing a curveball or a screwball from a right-hander like Castillo. You just pop your wrist and your elbow the opposite way. Sometimes wonder why you don't snap a lot of other things.
Bobby Castillo, local boy, went to Lincoln High School here in Los Angeles. 25 years old. Lincoln High in the neighborhood, really. Not very far from Chavez Ravine.
You know, the one thing about Castillo, Al, that a lot of screwball pitchers don't like to do is throw it to a right-handed batter because it's breaking down and in, but he'll do it.
1-0 the count.
The other Dodger right-handed relief artist here a few years back, he'd throw them to everybody. Mike Marshall. Anytime, any count.
Basic staple for a relief pitcher, some sort of trick pitch or something that'll drop.
I think the thing with Castillo, Al, he's got a decent fastball, and they know he throws a screwball. He'll throw it any time, but you know, if you go up there looking for screwballs off this guy, that's when he gets the fastball bite. Pitches inside, he's got a good sinker.
Hits a deep left field. Dusty Baker going back, gauging it now, leaps and makes the catch against the bullpen fence. So Cesar Cedeno comes within a couple of feet of hitting one out. And there are 2 down.
And you'll see Baker again going back. Now he hits the warning track, knows about where he is. And as Al said, a couple of more feet and it's out of here, but a catch for Baker. Taking care of Cedeno.
Art Howe, the batter. Bunted in the 2nd inning and reached on an error by the Dodgers starter Bert Hooton. A strike. You know, you talked about Mike Marshall. Alan Roth reminding us of Jim Brewer. Another pitcher had a great screwball. And, of course, the youngster, the 19-year-old Valenzuela, has the same pitch now. 0-2 the count.
Dodgers had another great reliever here, Al, some years back by the name of Ron Peranowski. Boy, and he had a beauty.
No balls, 2 strikes to count. Little number back to Castillo. Bobby takes care of Howe and the Astros in the 3rd. So they go out 1, 2, 3. And through 2.5 at Dodger Stadium, the score remains Houston 2, Los Angeles nothing. Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles on a sun-baked Sunday in October. A lot of folks in the seats today hold tickets for what they hope will be games 3, 4, and 5 of the National League Championship Series. The series to open in Philadelphia Tuesday. We'll have it for you on ABC from Philadelphia at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. American League Championship Series beginning on Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time in Kansas City. Game 2 in the National League Series Wednesday night at 8 Eastern. So a big week of baseball coming up on ABC. Darryl Thomas to lead off in the third, takes a strike. 0-1. Thomas, Castillo, and Lopes, the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. Darryl, switch hitter, likes to lay it down occasionally, so you can see Cabell in on the cutout at third. And the count is even at 1-1.
Thomas honored before the game, Al, as the Dodgers' most versatile player this year, and rightly so.
Filling in now for Bill Russell. 2-1. We've had a chance to talk quite a bit about Darryl and our Sunday and Monday night coverage this season. A man whose best position is center field, really. So he can play everywhere, literally. 2-2. His goal is to someday play all 9 positions in one game, which would be terrific if you were clinching the pennant early and then
That's right.
late in the season. Wanted to do something to bring some fans into the park. Little looper to left field. Cruz coming on, drops in for a base hit. So Darryl Thomas with a leadoff single here in the bottom of the third inning. Bobby Castillo coming up as we take another look at Thomas's single.
A breaking ball that he got upstairs, Al. He came down low and inside with 2 good sliders. Second one, Thomas missed by quite a margin, but that breaking ball he just slapped into left field. And the Dodgers have a runner on. 2-0 Houston. Art Howe over to talk things over with Vern Rule.
Castillo, as a hitter, he's 1 for 8 this season. He's 1 for 19 lifetime. And Bobby is up there, of course, to bunt in this situation with Cabell in on the grass at third. 2-0 Astros in the bottom of the third. Thomas at first base and nobody out. Again to drive Thomas back, a pattern he exhibited with great frequency against the only other base runner, Garvey, in the second inning. The pitch is up and in, and the count 1-0. Howe came flying in from first base and Cabell from third. They were both about 30 feet from the plate as the pitch came into Castillo.
Awful tough to make a bunt, Al. As you said, Cabell and Howe both charging. When the pitch starts on its way toward home plate, they're playing, especially Cabell. There's Howe holding to the runner at first, but Cabell at third is about 10 feet up the line, and when the pitch comes, they both break. It's tough to lay it down without somebody making a play on you.
2-0 is the count.
Rule that time trying to get upstairs with a fastball. The toughest pitch to bunt, a fastball upstairs, really with anything on it. Rule, as we said earlier, is not overpowering, but anything upstairs is tough. And Vern Rule may be in trouble right now. That finger may have given way. May have given way.
Well, Vern Rule with the sutured finger. Burden out there along with the Astros trainer.
He's gone, Al.
And that's it. Of course, if they have to make a pitching change here, the new pitcher will get as much time as is necessary to warm up. So there was nobody working in the bullpen. And it's going to be interesting to see. Is it going to be Andujar? There goes Rule. So Vern looked like he was having no problems at all through the first 2 innings. And then all of a sudden here in the third, the base hit by Thomas. 2-0 the count on Castillo, and Rule has to give it up. And so it'll be Joaquin Andujar.
You know, it's amazing, Alan, that Vern Rule was able to pitch as long as he did. Matter of fact, even start this ball game. Bill Burton talking things over with Andujar. I was really surprised that he was able to pitch. You can imagine, and the folks who follow baseball and maybe have played a little baseball, there's a very disgusted Bill Burton heading back toward the dugout, and Joaquin Andujar will come on to work now for Houston. And there's Vern Rule, very dejected in the Houston dugout, but to go as far as he did with 2 stitches, I can't imagine it. I really can't. I know what it is to have a blister on a throwing hand and the pain involved in that. And to have a couple of stitches put in 2 days ago on Friday evening, and then come to pitch today, and again you got to wonder, Al, all those throws to first base, the extra throws, but it didn't seem to be bothering him at that time. That high, tight fastball that he threw to Castillo was the one that did it. There you see it right there.
So 2-0 the score, with Houston leading. Nobody out. 2-0 the count on Castillo when play resumes, and Thomas at first base. Andujar, appearing in his 35th game. 21 times he has worked in relief. Of course, he got a lot of those starts because of the stroke suffered by J.R. Richard, which caused the shuffling in the rotation. When J.R. was in the rotation, Joaquin was not, and was very angry about it, and has so stated from time to time over the past couple of years that if they're not going to pitch him every 4th or 5th day, he wants out of there. He is a man who has great stuff. He's the type of pitcher that if he's really on, you're in a lot of trouble. But he's been very erratic. And he's a man who, ironically enough, after complaining for a good part of the season about not being one of the mainstays in the rotation, is now thrust into a situation where everything is really on the line. Andujar has completed his warm-ups. It's very interesting how this game is being managed right now. Tommy Lasorda has his back totally to the wall. Bill Burton has a little bit more breathing space. Lasorda was forced to go to one of his short men in the bullpen, Castillo, in the 2nd inning. Burton has the luxury, because he has the game in hand, of going to a long man, Andujar, though he does have 3 good short men, Dave Smith, Frank LaCourte, and Joe Sambito. I would tend to think if this were tomorrow that you might see one of those 3 in here instead of Andujar, but he has the game in hand. He's got a 2-run lead and a chance to see what Andujar can do here. Bobby Castillo at the plate. Here's the 2-0 pitch, taken for a strike, and the count 2-1.
Well, the thing about Castillo, Al, is the fact that he's really pitched like a short man. Really got out of a jam in the 2nd, and then worked a 1-2-3 third. Look at it too from the standpoint, Al, an uplift for the Dodgers. Castillo coming in to shut down Houston in the 2nd, and again in the 3rd.
Nobody out. Here's the 2-1 to Castillo. Bobby bunts foul, and the count 2-2. Castillo has 1 sacrifice this year, and that is the only sacrifice of his major league career.
Again, a high fastball that time, and a tough pitch to bunt. Andujar coming upstairs, and Castillo following off.
2 balls and 2 strikes to count on Bobby Castillo. Houston 2, Los Angeles nothing, with nobody out in the 3rd inning, and Thomas at first base.
Now, the thing about Andujar, one of the things about Andujar, and you touched on it briefly, started taking his warm-up pitches, he can get tough. The reason he gets tough sometimes when he's got everything going. He drops down from the side. He comes all different kind of angles. Very tough on right-handed batters if he's got it all going.
Joaquin from the Dominican Republic, and in that sense, he reminds you a lot of Juan Marichal, his countryman. Relatively close that time as Thomas gets back.
Thomas taking a little time at first base now to dust himself off. Here's that last throw by Andujar. Got an excellent move to first base. And the tag just a bit late by Howell. Trying to keep Thomas close. 2-2 on Castillo.
Bobby has already squared the bunt and bunts foul for strike 3. So Castillo cannot advance Thomas. Andujar gets the strikeout, and we have 1 down now in the 3rd inning.
Second baseman, Davy Lopes.
Davy Lopes, the batter. Lopes flied out in the first inning. Lopes playing with a special brace around his neck, soft brace created by Bill Bueller, the Dodgers trainer. Back problems earlier this season. You can see it protruding just a bit there through the uniform. Pinched nerve in his neck this week. Been in and out of the lineup. Jack Perconti has seen a lot of action at second base, the rookie. 1-0 the count.
So that ball game a couple of days ago, Al, when he lost that fly ball that caused the Dodger defeat, they said when he looked up in the air, he got dizzy. Just that pinch nerve really bothered him. Easy play for Davy Lopes normally.
That was in San Diego last Sunday. 2-0 the count on Lopes.
There's the one problem, Al, and you touched again on it earlier, the fact that Andujar at times gets very, very erratic. Good fastball, curve, slider. I think at times he tries to do too much. You talked about Juan Marichal, the big high leg kick, and I think at times Andujar goes through the same problem.
Thomas goes. The pitch is inside. The throw down there gets him. And Morgan comes up limping. So there may have been a costly out. You can see Thomas doesn't like the call, and frankly, I didn't think that Ashby had a chance in the world to get him. Looked like Thomas had a good jump. It looked like he'd make it relatively easily. And Nicolosi says, no, sir, he's gone.
Al, the throw perfect by Ashby. The other thing, Al, a tough pitch to handle. High, tight fastball, backing Lopes away. Ashby had to reach inside to get it, then come back out. There you get a look at the jump by Thomas. He had a good jump, as Al said. This throw is right on the bag by Ashby. You'll get a look at the head-first slide by Thomas. Colosi right there. And the tag by Morgan.
Ooh.
May have been a bit late.
I don't know. He gets him on the elbow. Maybe from this angle. Let's see if we get a better view here.
This one looked like he had him, Al. This angle looked like he had him. There's Thomas coming now, and Morgan right there. His knee is there. That's why he got him. He never got to the bag, and a good call by Colosi.
And Joe came up limping. So Morgan literally takes the base away from Thomas.
Yes, sir. Good play by Morgan. And a good shot there. Behind home plate, different angle.
The 3-0 pitch is a strike, and the count is 3-1. So that's the man who gets a good share of the credit, in addition to Ashby's throw being right there.
Boy, what a throw, Al. Excellent.
3-1 delivery is inside, and Lopes is on. So Davy is at first base. 2 down. Rick Monday, the batter. Another angle now on Thomas's attempted steal.
There's Thomas with a good jump. There you saw Art Howe. Very important guy. There he goes. He hollered. Here's the throw coming down. Watch Morgan's left knee. Thomas never got to the bag.
Takes the bag away.
Yes, sir.
Well, you wonder if that's simply by accident or whether that's predetermined in Morgan's mind.
Either that or lay off it. Disable him one way or another.
2 out. Monday, the batter. Lopes at first base. And the pitch is outside for a ball. 1-0 the count. So both starters, Hooten and Rule, are gone. Monday, as you can see, has really turned it on since the break. And Andujar's next offering is fouled back. Off to the left. 1-1. Astros leading 2-0. They picked up their runs in the second inning. Cedeno bunted his way on, stole second, went to third on an error by Hooten. Ashby singled to score Cedeno, and Reynolds singled to right to score Howe. And that did it for Hooten. 3 hits and an error, and 2 runs for Houston. Lopes at first base. Lopes with 23 steals, 23 out of 30. There he goes. The pitch is fouled back. 1-2 the count.
Lopes with a good jump that time, and Rick Bundy out with a good pitch to drive to the opposite field. You'll get a look one more time. There's Lopes. 23 steals for the year. He goes, and as I said, that pitch to Rick Bundy was a good ball to hit to the opposite field. A fastball out over the plate, and he fouled it back.
One ball, 2 strikes the count on Monday. 27-year-old Joaquin Andujar. Stays with an erratic hop and goes to Morgan for the force on Davey Lopes, who comes up limping. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left on. We played 3 full in L.A., and it's still the Astros 2 and the Dodgers nothing.
Florida's passes.
I don't know about that. From the first row of the reserve level, looking down. As we go to the 4th inning, the crowd, the noise undulating today. The Astros get going, and it's very quiet. Dodgers look like they might get something going, and the clapping and the cheering begins. And right now it's quiet with Houston at the plate as we go to the 4th inning. 2-0 Astros, and Alan Ashby to lead things off. 0-1 the count. Bottom of the order, Ashby, Reynolds, and Andujar. 4th inning, final game of the regular season. If the Astros win, they go on to Philadelphia as the Western Division champions. If the Dodgers win, we'll have a divisional playoff tomorrow. 1 game to decide it all, and we'll have it for you at 4 Eastern time on ABC. Liner by Lopes into right field for a base hit. So Alan Ashby is 2 for 2 with a couple of singles, and Craig Reynolds will be the batter.
Craig Reynolds.
Ashby having a good series. He's really responding down the stretch here. He's 5 for 8. In the 3 games, and he's also done a good job back of the plate.
He really has, Al. He's always been an outstanding receiver. He's got an excellent throwing arm. He's accurate. Big thing always with Ashby was his bat. He was a switch hitter throughout his career. Forgot about switch hitting. Went as a left-handed batter, strictly left-handed last year, but this year back switch hitting.
Reynolds at the plate. Craig drove in a run in the 2nd inning with a single to right. Foul away. 0-1 the count. Well, I'd say it's been a tough weekend for a lot of the folks with the Astros. New owner this year, John McMullen, has taken over. He's been relatively quiet, low-key. Tal Smith running the baseball end of things. 1-1. Saw Tal before the game. It looked like he'd been up for about 9 nights.
Everybody with this Houston contingent here in L.A., Al, looks the same way. They really do. They're saying, how do you do it? How do we win it? 3-2 in the opener, 2-1 yesterday. Today, leading 2-0.
1-1 the count. Bunted sharply towards Say. He looks at second and settles for the out at first as Ashby goes down to second. So Reynolds able to move him along as they utilize the sacrifice in the 8th spot with Andujar coming up.
I believe he may have had a chance at Ashby at second base, Al. I was surprised he didn't go to second. He got the runner at first easily. Ball bunted rather sharply by Reynolds, and Say is right there. Now watch him take the look at second. Ashby not a quick runner. I think Say had a shot at him. Throws out Reynolds by plenty with Garvey covering.
Andujar 5 for 29 this season. That's 172. Well, we've got a 179 on the graphic. With a home run. 3 for his career.
He's a guy that really loves to hit, Al. He doesn't make contact that often, but he doesn't get cheated. Watch the rips this guy takes.
Swing and a miss, 0-1.
Every time I watch this guy hit, I really get a kick out of him. During batting practice, when the pitchers take batting practice in Houston, he'll switch hit. But in the course of a ball game, he stays strictly as a right-handed batter, but he loves to swing. He really does.
Got jammed on that one. Well, that stung his hands. Castillo saying, all right, if you're going to look like a hitter, I'm going to pitch to you like a hitter. 0-2 the count. Fourth inning with one out. Houston leading 2-0. Strike two delivery. Got him swinging.
Well, we told you, folks, he doesn't get cheated. Goes up there ripping.
Bobby Castillo has his third strikeout. And we'll take a look at Terry Poole. Great irony, as I say, with Andujar pitching in the game. Who knows, if we get down to the end, you could see a 19-year-old from Mexico in a key spot for the Dodgers, Fernando Valenzuela. They won't hesitate to use him. It's fascinating, the things that happen as you get down toward the end. The things you never would have believed even a month earlier. Poole takes a strike, and the count is 0-1.
Really is, Al. The first two games in this series, both these clubs 1-2 in pitching in the National League. Houston on top. The Dodgers are second. The first two games, pitchers battled. A big error by Landeskog in the opening game gave the Dodgers new life. The pitching has been excellent.
The 0-1 pitch. Outside, 1-1. Terry Poole, the Astros leadoff hitter and team leader in home runs with 13. They moved Terry down from time to time this year into the 3 spot. But they've got Morgan there today. 1-1 the count. 2 down. To left center field. Might be trouble. Baker racing over. Can't get it. That will make it 3-0 as Poole rounds second and holds with a double. Terry Poole drilling one to the gap to score Alan Ashby, and the Astros add another.
Big 2-out base hit. Al reached out for a high pitch that time from Castillo, and a diving try by Baker. He just couldn't catch up to it. There you see Guerrero coming from center field. There's the diving try by Baker, and the ball's by him. Run scoring 2-out double for Poole. 3-0 Houston.
So there's Terry with a perfect day. 2 walks and the double, and Enos Cabell, who has struck out twice, stands in. And the crowd again very silent. Blew it by him. Three runs, 5 hits for the Astros. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 error for the Dodgers. Magnified in a game like this. Again, the slow pace continuing. The strike one delivery. Guessing the count is even, 1-1.
Each mistake made in these games, Al, is so very, very critical now, and more so for the Dodgers. Then going back to that pitch by Castillo, it worked so very well since coming on in the second. Got that pitch upstairs on Terry Poole, ripping it for a double. Dodgers must win. Got to win.
Castillo ready. 1-1 pitch is popped foul. Back of first, should drift out of play, and it does. It's the type of game, Uke, also where if somebody makes a great play, people always remember it. If you make a terrific play in May in a day game during the week or something, you remember it for a while, but it recedes from your memory. But something happens in a game like this, and people talk about it for years.
Very true, Al. I tell you, going back to the sacrifice by Reynolds. Again, I thought Say had a chance at Ashby at second base, elected to go to first, and it turned out to be a run for Houston. It's not to put any kind of a rap on Say because he took the sure out. But Poole delivered.
Here's Morgan. He's on deck. 2-2 the count on Enos Cabell. Count holding. In the Dodger bullpen, we'll have activity again as Rick Sutcliffe, his throwing. Red Adams, the Dodger pitching coach, doing a little pacing. Danny Ozark in the foreground and Tommy Lasorda back of him. Two and two the count on Cabell. Poole at second and 2 down. 2-2 pitch. Got him. Scrooge. Bobby Castillo gets his 4th strikeout. Cabell has now struck out 3 times. They get a run. 2 hits. Lead 1. After 3.5, the Astros 3. And the Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. Al Michaels and Bob Uecker with you. Ballpark that opened back in 1962. Bill Burton, who was a pretty fair outfielder in his time. And a good hitter.
Could it come to that?
I doubt it. Call his own number, huh? The option. 3-0. The Astros lead it. Houston trying to wrap up the National League West, and the Dodgers trying to force a 1-game divisional playoff tomorrow. Baker, Garvey, and Say, 3 right-handed batters coming up against Joaquin Andujar. He joined us late. Both starters gone. Bert Newton lasted an inning plus. Bobby Castillo came on. Vern Rule lasted 2 innings plus. Came out and cut his finger on Friday night. Joaquin Andujar took over. And it's 3-0 Astros. They scored twice in the second and once in the fourth. And here's Baker, who grounded out in the first inning. Dusty 0 for 1. Curve away. 1-0.
Take a look at Andujar, Al, when he goes to his delivery. He's got that herky-jerky style. His leg kick at times fluctuates down, up. And it causes him at times to be so erratic. But once he gets in a groove, and if he does, he's tough. He's really nasty. Tough for a right-hander.
1 ball, 1 strike the count.
As easy as Vern Rule was to catch, and we talked about that earlier, this guy is just the opposite.
Two and 1. Tommy Lasorda. Well, he's been through the ringer again and again and again, but the Dodgers with their backs to the wall, battling back Friday, battling yesterday, and they're going to have to do it again today. The 2-1 delivery is outside. 3-1 the count.
Talking between innings, Al, you got to wonder how long Bill Burton would go with Andujar. He has a tendency to get wild. Houston up by a score of 3-0. Rather put it away today. Forget about tomorrow.
I don't suspect that Burton will go very long with Joaquin if he gets himself into trouble. 3-1 pitch. Base hit to left. So for the 3rd consecutive inning, the Dodgers have a leadoff single. Baker at first, nobody out, and Steve Garvey is the batter. Garvey today playing in his 834th consecutive game.
That last base hit by Baker. Andujar falling behind. And as you've heard so many times, you can't pitch from behind. Sitting on fastballs, 3-1, 2-0. Baker got it and ripped it.
Just missing. 2-0 on Garvey.
He's really been in a groove, Al, talking with him during batting practice today. Ball that he hit yesterday off Nolan Ryan. He got a high fastball. Time call now as Joe Morgan and Art Howe head to the mound for a couple of words with Andujar. But the ball that he hit was a high fastball off Ryan, and he really nailed it.
Look at Morgan. I mean, when you see the batting average come up at 246 and you say the Astros didn't get their money's worth, it doesn't tell the story. Here he is. He's the quarterback of this team. He goes to the mound. You can see him with a lecture to Andujar. Morgan is a great psychologist. He's one of the most book-smart guys in the game. He not only knows the game of baseball, the man is well-versed in a lot of areas. He understands people. He knows how to talk to people. Andujar is a different sort of individual. And that's the way Morgan feels he can best get through to him. The 2-0 pitch is popped up right side. Whatever he said, it was a gem. Howe is right there and makes the catch in fair territory. 1 out.
Not much you can say in a situation like that. Al, they've got the 3-0 lead. They're leading by a game. They got everything going for them today. All Andujar's got to do is throw strikes. Let everybody play.
What Morgan might have been saying, just a speculative guess here, is to Andujar, we've got a 3-run lead. Don't start putting guys on by being too fine.
Exactly.
Don't try to necessarily work the black of the plate or get it right at the knees or whatever. Throw strikes.
Yes, sir. I agree. You can't pitch from behind and win. Just can't do it.
Ron Cey fly to right in the second inning. 1-0 the count. Baker at first base. Held on by Howe. Here's the 1-0 delivery in there. 1-1. Works the corner. Ron likes the crowd to play. So oftentimes when Cey backs away from a pitch, the crowd responds. Naturally, they don't have the angle you do looking in from center field, and they think it's a ball.
Again, with Andujar now, Al, here's a guy so far off the outside corner with that first pitch of breaking ball. He's such a tough guy to hit against. You can't look for pitches in zones off this guy. You might take a peek at times as a hitter and look at the catcher sitting around the outside corner. You might pick up a target. If you're thinking outside, this guy's liable to whistle one on the inside corner to you. He's so unpredictable, and he's tough to figure out. If you're up there as a hitter, unless you get ahead in the count to him.
1-2.
Boy, there's a blazing fastball right there, up around the letters. Bad pitch to Cey, but they're tough to hit against, Al. They really are. They're tough for an umpire to work.
There are hitters, you talk about guess hitters, guessing certain pitches. A lot of hitters will tell you, well, we guess location. I look for something high, look for something low, inside or outside. That's where you can't do it against Andujar.
Exactly.
1-2 delivery. Got him swinging. He worked all sides of the plate that time.
It's so very tough. Talking about him up on top, 3/4 arm style. You can run that last pitch back. I don't know if we have it for you or not. He dropped down almost around his kneecaps and came with that sinking fastball to Cey. He's so tough on right-handers. And you said looking for a pitch in a zone, forget it with this guy.
Pete Guerrero fly to right in the second inning. Baker at first and 2 down. And Guerrero takes a strike on the outside part. 0-1.
It's tough for an umpire, Al. I want to get back to what I said before about an umpire working behind home plate. As you look at Baker at first, an umpire will set up where that catcher puts the target.
He drops down, and Guerrero bails out. 0-2.
When you set a target, the umpire figures you're working off the outside. He's going to get there. Now, if that pitcher throws a pitch on the inside quarter, it may be a strike, but the umpire at times may miss it because he's looking just like you are.
It's a good point. From ground level, the 0-2 delivery struck him out, blew it by him. So again, for the third consecutive inning, the Dodgers have squandered a leadoff single. And we go to the 5th in L.A. with the score. Houston 3 and the Dodgers nothing.
To Guerrero. There he is right there. I got it. Don't worry about it, Billy.
What pressure? Okay, we played 4. 3 runs, 5 hits for Houston. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error for the Dodgers. 5th inning, and the play-by-play, Bob Uecker.
All right, Al, and Joe Morgan will lead it off. Cruz to follow, and then Cedeno. 3-0 Houston. Hanging curveball, or is it? Nope, strike, says Doug Harvey. And Joe Morgan. Take a look at Joe Morgan. Breaking ball up around the letters on Joe, and Joe Morgan, who has been in 5 National League Championship Series with Cincinnati, trying for 6 with Houston. Hit on the ground towards second, Davey Lopes. An easy play, 1 away. And you see Morgan noticeably limping. He's been bothered by that for a couple of days now. Left the ball game with tenderness, soreness in the leg. But today everybody plays. Cruz flied to right and struck out. He went around too far, says Doug Harvey. 1 strike. Al, you got to be wondering about Bobby Castillo now. He's used primarily in short relief. The fact that he may be getting tired, working since the second.
It will be his last inning, because when the Dodgers bat in the bottom of the 5th, he's due up 3rd, so he'll have done the job, and down by 3, you've got to go to your bench.
Just missed. Ball 1, strike 2. It's 3-0 Houston in the 5th inning. 2 in the second, and a big run-scoring 2-out double in the 4th by Poole. Low, 2-2. The Dodger bullpen, Rick Sutcliffe, up for the second time. 2-2 to Cruz. Fouled out of play on a high screwball. Art Howe, he's due next. Cedeno first, then Howe. The Astros can't wait. Center field, Guerrero broke back a step. Coming on, he's there. He's got it. Guerrero with a fine running catch in center. He took a step back on that ball when it was hit, but came on to make the catch. 2 men out, and Cedeno. He had a bunt single back in the second, stole a base, and scored on a base hit by Alan Ashby. Talking at the top of the telecast how tough it is to play here in Dodger Stadium in the outfield. And again, Guerrero taking that step back. He let a fly ball drop yesterday. Ball that was hit by Art Howe fell in for a single, led to a Houston run. Castillo misses outside.
Well, you know, it's an audio-visual problem both. Visually, we've talked about that, and the audio part would be the crowd itself. You can't hear the crack of the bat that distinctively.
Yeah, you got to wonder, too, when you look at the background here from the outfield, looking in the upper deck, the second deck, 3-deck affair here at Dodger Stadium, how often an outfielder loses a ball. There you see it. You really have to stay with them, relocate them. So you wonder about line drives that are really hit. Ball 1, strike 1 to Cedeno. Bobby Castillo. One and 2 now. Bill Verdon.
Deacon Jones.
Deacon Jones, yes sir. The old Deke. One ball and 2 strikes, 2 men out. Houston, 5th inning. They lead 3-0. In the air, right field, Monday coming on. He's there, and he's got it to retire the side. So Houston goes quietly in the 5th inning. 3 up and 3 down. At the end of 4.5 innings of play, it is still the Astros over the Dodgers, 3-0. The Dodger bullpen, Sutcliffe the right-hander, and the rookie sensation, Valenzuela. Fernando Valenzuela. Joe Ferguson will lead it off in the Dodger 5th inning against Joaquin Andujar, who has done a fine job. Came on with a runner on back in the 3rd. Got Castillo trying to bunt with 2 strikes. Got him for a strikeout. Walked Lopes, then got Monday on a fielder's choice. Gave up a leadoff single to Baker in the 4th inning, but then worked out of it, striking out the final 2, Say and Guerrero. And he'll face Joe Ferguson leading off in the Dodger 5th. Ferguson's first time up against Vern Rule. He lined hard to right. 1 ball and no strikes. You look up and down this Dodger lineup, and especially against a guy like Andujar, who is upstairs, sidearm, 3/4. 1-1 now. Lopes, a right-handed batter. Baker, Garvey, Say, Guerrero, Ferguson. All right-handers against a very tough right-handed pitcher. There's Darryl Thomas. He's due next. just started this game, if you're just joining us, we're 2 innings left after re-injuring a cut on the index finger in his pitching hand. Tore open some stitches and had to leave. 2-1 to Ferguson. On the ground toward Reynolds. In plenty of time for Ferguson for the first out. 1 away in the Dodger 5th.
Shortstop, Darrell Thomas.
Darrell Thomas coming on now. He singled his first time up and then was cut down on a perfect throw to Joe Morgan at second, trying to steal. The Dodgers have had the leadoff batter on 3 times in this game, but have yet to score. On the inside corner, a strike at the knees. Thomas is one of those hitters that likes to hit that hard stuff toward the opposite field. Off-speed stuff, got a chance to pull you, but the majority of the stuff that he hits, hard stuff, talking about fastballs or a hard slider, to the opposite field. That's the way they play him. Cruz will hold him at first. So Darrell Thomas picks up his second hit today. Right down the line. And his base hit number 4 for the Dodgers.
Darrell has that area zeroed in. Base hit yesterday off Nolan Ryan that way. Base hit 3rd inning off Vern Rule that way today. And down the line here off Joaquin Andujar. So Thomas is 2 for 2 as the Dodgers pick up their 4th hit. Gary Thomas and you coming out to hit for Castillo.
Bobby Castillo is done, as Al talked earlier. Pinch hitter now Thomason. And Valenzuela continues to throw in the Dodger bullpen. Sutcliffe is no longer throwing. There you see the Dodger left-hander. Boy, what a job that guy has done. Worked 13+ innings. He's been in 8 games for the Dodgers. 1-2 loss done. Struck out 14 and 13+. There you see the stats on Gary Thomason. The Dodgers need runs. 3-0, 5th inning. Gary Thomason, as a pinch hitter, 10 for 43. Thomason draws the throw at first, and he's back.
Report we get now on Rule, Uke, is that the stitches came apart. It opened up. The cut opened up, and that's why Vern had to leave the game.
Outside a ball to Thomason. Well, we talked about the injury to Rule, Al, and it came on that high, tight fastball he threw to Castillo. That was the one that did it. 1-0. Drilled to right field, a base hit. The Dodgers have 2 on. So a big pinch hit single for Gary Thomason. 11 for 44 now as a pinch hitter. 2 on, none out. Correction, 1 out.
Well, you listen to that crowd. What you have here now is you've got 8th inning emotion in the 5th inning. Gary Thomason, good line drive hitter. Been around a number of years with the Giants, Yankees, A's, now the Dodgers. And it's a big hit here. Now you go to the top of the order. You got Davey Lopes coming up.
And a new baseball put in play by home plate umpire Doug Harvey. The top of the Dodger order now, Davey Lopes.
Point you made also, Bob, about the toughness of Andujar against the right-handers is particularly relevant now. He took care of Ferguson. Thomas, the switch hitter, got a base hit. Thomason, the left-hand hitter, got a base hit. Now the Dodgers are back from the right side. But Monday's on deck, another left-handed batter.
Out of play by Lopes. You're right, Al. And again, with a guy like Andujar who is erratic. corners, upstairs, downstairs, all over. But against the left-handers, slider, curveball, breaking into you. Not really that great with the control. He's got a strike on Lopes. The 0-1, drill to center. Base hit Cedeno. There'll be no play at the plate. Thomas scores. It's 3-1. The Dodgers fighting back here in the fifth inning. Davey Lopes. Run scoring single to center. It's 3-1.
Good alert base running by Darryl Thomas here. That's a line drive, but it leaves the bat. You're not quite sure if Cedeno is going to make the catch, but Thomas gauged it perfectly. Darryl was running all the way. Cedeno trying to come up throwing if he possibly can, and as a consequence in his haste, never came up with the ball cleanly.
Here's a look at the Dodger dugout. New life. 3-1 now. The Houston bullpen is busy. And Bill Burden, with a bit of a smile, heads out toward the mound now.
I believe he has Dave Smith down there. Joe Sambito is also up, the left-hander, and he's up early, but the season is late, and that's why he's up early. So Burden always maintaining that calm facade, that cool exterior. Doesn't matter what the situation is. The expression rarely changes. Now Bill's going to have his little chat with Andujar.
There you see the story from Dodger Stadium. 3-1 Houston in the Dodger fifth inning. Billy Burden really doesn't look that upset, Al. He's very calm, bit of a smile on his face as he talks to Andujar.
He's getting his point across here.
He is, you're right. I was just going to say, he may be smiling a bit, but I'm sure he's getting his point across. And Doug Harvey now standing right behind Burden. He wants Burden to make a move one way or another. He's got Sambito and Smith and getting some extra time.
Yeah.
And we're going to get a pitching change here.
Yeah, it's going to be Sambito. That was some interesting byplay on the mound. It was almost as if he was reading him out.
Now Billy Burden with a bit of a smile, and Joe Sambito heads out of the Houston bullpen. So the pitching change made here. Houston leads it 3-1 in the fifth inning. Hang around. We'll be back from Dodger Stadium. Joe Sambito making his 64th appearance. There you see his total 17 saves. He's 1-8, lost 4. And an excellent earned run average, 2.14. 88 in the third innings pitched. Bill Burden. Houston still on top, 3-1. In 88 in the third innings, Sambito has recorded 74 strikeouts. And Mickey Hatcher will come out as a pinch hitter for Rick Monday. Hatcher, 225. He's homered once and knocked in 5. Appearing in his 56th game for Los Angeles. The Dodgers have the tying runs on. 1 out. 1 out single by Thomas. Pinch hit base hit by Thomason, and a run scoring single by Lopes, and the Dodgers are on the board. Reynolds, Morgan, in time, and the Astros turn the double play. What a job by Sambito. 1 pitch. And it's over for the Dodgers here in the fifth inning, but they pick up a run. And at the end of 5, it's 3-1 Houston over Los.
Now from our left field angle, Mickey Hatcher bouncing into a double play on Sambito's first pitch. Reynolds with a pickup. Then you've got Lopes going into Morgan. 2 men playing hurt, getting tangled up, then the throw to first by Joe to get him. So Bill Burden goes to his trump card early. You can't save Sambito for a prospective situation down the line where you want to go lefty against lefty. He comes in early, does the job in the fifth inning, and now we look at Fernando Valenzuela. What a story.
Talking about trump cards, Al. Valenzuela on here in the sixth inning. Born in Sonora, Mexico. appearing in his 9th game for the Dodgers. In 13 2/3 innings, has allowed 2 unearned runs. Struck out 14.
Doesn't speak a word of English. Well, they like to say he doesn't speak a word of English, but if you know how to say no, you can say it in both languages, can't you?
He can say win. At San Antonio this year in 27 games, he worked 174 innings, 162 strikeouts. He won 13, lost 9. Got an excellent screwball.
The other word he's going to hear pretty soon is money.
That's right. You betcha.
Dinero to
Win
Fernando
first,
right
then money.
now.
Art Howe will lead it off for the Houston 6th. Here's the screwball outside. One ball and no strikes. Low fastball, 2-0. Howe this afternoon reached on an error and scored in the 2nd. His 2nd time up, tapped back to the mound. It's been Houghton, Castillo, and now Valenzuela for the Dodgers. Rule, Andujar, and Sambito for Houston. 2 balls and a strike. Valenzuela will be 20 years old on November 1st. Art Howe hitting the air toward left center. Back goes Guerrero fighting the sun. Can he get it? He did, and he almost dropped it. Very, very tough sun as Guerrero went back after that long fly ball hit by Howe, and you saw that baseball almost pop out.
Guerrero's going to see sunspots in his dreams after this weekend. A drive to center. He gauges how hard the ball was hit accurately, but there he is. He's fighting the sun, and look as he ice cream cones it for the out.
Almost.
Staying with it.
Get another angle. That ball almost popped away from him. 1 out. Here's Alan Ashby. 2 for 2, an RBI, and a run scored. A strike to him. There's that screwball. Boy, he's got a good one. Tommy Lasorda. The Dodgers trailing 3-1. Houston 6th inning. Each game thus far in this series belongs to the pitchers. 3-2 in the opener, 2-1 yesterday. Low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Valenzuela very concerned. Takes care of Astros. Now, you know, you look at some of these youngsters that come to the major leagues. Case in point here, Valenzuela. Dodgers in a tough pennant fight. He's out there blowing bubbles.
He's
not
making
too concerned.
He's making it look almost too easy. Of course, the Astros haven't seen that much of him. Ashby, he knows it right away. No dispute, no question about it. Trickery and deceit will get you everywhere.
Here's Craig Reynolds. On the ground, Garvey's got it. Valenzuela works a 1-2-3-6th inning. Houston gets nothing. So the Houston Astros, at the end of 5.5 innings of play, still lead the Dodgers by a score of 3. The Dodgers come to bat in the 6th inning. Baker, Garvey, and Say against left-hander Joe Sambito, who came on to work in the 5th inning and threw 1 pitch to pinch hitter Mickey Hatcher, and the Astros got him a 6-4-3 double play. Jammed up crowd here in Dodger Stadium, 52,339. Baker has bounced to short and single. Outside from Sambito, 1-0. The Dodgers have out-hit the Astros today, 6-5, but trail by a pair. And right in on Alan Ashby. High fastball, 2-0. Tommy Lasorda trying to get him going. Should the Dodgers win today, we'll be back with you tomorrow afternoon. The Astros trying to end it and head for Philadelphia. On the outside corner, 2-1 to Baker. Garvey next. Now. There you see what Dusty Baker has done against Joe Sambito, 4 for 9. Well, the Dodgers got a leadoff single from Garvey in the second, couldn't score. Darryl Thomas let it off in the third with a base hit. Baker, right field. Terry Poole is there, and he's got it for the first out. So Sambito, after falling behind, gets Baker. When you watch that slicing fly ball hit by Baker, and all of a sudden, Al, when Poole got in a certain area of right field, you saw that sun hit those glasses out there. So very tough.
He started out like he knew exactly what he was doing, and then there was just that fleeting instant there when he was gingerly approaching the ball. You're right.
Here's Garvey. He had a bunt single back in the second. The 200th base hit this year. Low from Sambito. Now, I think a lot of fans might be interested too, and you've seen this happen many times where an outfielder with those sunglasses, infielders for that matter, you locate a ball going up in the air first, then you pop your glasses down. That's the time, many times, when you lose the ball again, and you really have to fight to relocate it. To Garvey. Foul back. 1-1. The Astros picking up 2 in the second. Run number 3 in the 4th inning. The Dodgers scored against Andujar in the 5th. That's when Sambito came on with a double play. High to Garvey. 2-1. Now you look back at that play by Ashby on Darryl Thomas when he tried to steal back in the 3rd. A very tough pitch for Ashby to handle inside to Castillo. And the play by Morgan. Looped foul by Garvey. Morgan, when he took the throw at second base, knelt down in front of the bag, and Thomas never got to the bag. Big play. There you see, Joe.
You can dissect a couple of things, too. Again, you know, does Say go to second on the bunt in the 4th inning? If he does, maybe they don't get a run there.
That's when Poole came up with a big run-scoring double. 2-2 to Garvey. Fouled back on a breaking ball. Ron Say, he's due next. Garvey is deep. Straight away. And Sambito taking some extra time. There you see that Houston outfield. Just about straight away. Cedeno shades slightly toward left center. 2-2. Outside. He's full now. 3-2. Now this ballpark is waiting to explode. That's it. 3-1 Houston. Dodgers 6th. To Garvey. Got him with a breaking ball and a big strikeout for Sambito. 3-2 curveball. Gets Garvey. Lasorda and Say coming on.
Check out Sambito's reaction. You know it's October the 5th, don't you?
Wow. That's a tough call by Ashby, Al. 3-2. Ron Say flied to center and struck out. Outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Hey, it takes a lot of guts to call a 3-2 breaking ball in a game like this. In this situation, 6th inning, 3-1. Put a runner on that brings the tying run up. Say 27 home runs. Outside again, 2-0. Now Sambito, after throwing 1 pitch to Hatcher for the double play, has fallen behind each batter here in the 6th inning. Baker, Garvey, and he's 2-0 to Say. high fastball, 3-0. Say bothered by a hamstring pull. Bullseye. 3-1 now. Davey Lopes. Al talked about the injuries to this Dodger ball club. Playing hurt. Dusty Baker. 3-1. Say in the air, left field but not deep. Cruz an easy play, and Sambito works a 1-2-3 Dodgers sixth inning. Baker, Garvey, and Say go quietly. We've completed 6 now from Dodger Stadium, and the Astros still on top by a score of 3-1. Coming on, Houston on top by a score of 3-1. And the Dodgers with a new right fielder, Mickey Hatchery, stayed in the game after coming on to pinch hit for Rick Bundy back in the 5th inning. So Houston trying to nail it down. Joe Sambito will lead it off here in the top half of the 7th inning. And all set to call the action for you once again. Here's Al Michaels.
All right, Uke, and Sambito as a hitter this season is 0-for-8. He'll be followed by Terry Poole and then Enos Cabell. Fernando Valenzuela in relief of Houghton and Castillo. Set to work as we go to the 7th, and starts him with a pitch that misses for a ball. 1-0 the count. Two and 0 on Sambito. Valenzuela, the winning pitcher on Friday night in the dramatic 3-2 10-inning victory. And Sambito got the green light. 2-0.
He's sitting on a fastball. Al, I was interested watching Ferguson with the signs to Valenzuela, not messing around at all, just sticking down number 1 for Sambito on the first 2 pitches, then came back with a 2-0 fastball.
And the count now even. 2-2 on Joe. The National League Championship Series beginning on Tuesday night in Philadelphia. The other site still to be determined. Will it be here or will it be in Houston? 2-2 delivery is fouled away. Game 1 of the National League Tuesday. Airtime will be 8 o'clock Eastern. American League Championship Series, the Yankees and the Royals opening on Wednesday afternoon. National League Game 2 Wednesday night. Then they have a day off in the American League in Game 2 on Thursday night. Popped up. Foul ground and playable for Say. 1 gone. Valenzuela has set down the 4 men he has faced thus far. And we'll see Terry Poole. Interesting, the Dodgers came out with a bio sheet on Valenzuela when he came up. They list him as 5 feet 11 and a half and 168 pounds.
That might be Stones.
Yeah. Yeah. That might have been a few years ago. The pitch is up and in. Fernando looks like he might be a budding Mickey Lolich.
Or a bigger Lee Trevino.
Yeah. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fouled back. 1-1 the count. Valenzuela spent most of this season at San Antonio. Earlier with Lodi in A-ball, California League. 1-2 the count. It's got to be hard to believe a guy goes to a Class A game in Lodi, California in April or May and watching a kid pitch. And here it is, what, 6 months later? Everything's on the line, and there he is.
For all the marbles.
1-2 on Terry Poole. Fouled back.
It's really hard to believe that if you look at Enos Cabell, he'll be next. The composure that Valenzuela has, Al, he takes the sign, goes to his windup and brings it on. I mean, no problem, no sweat. pitched that way. First 8 games for the Dodgers. The heat's on every game.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, bases empty, 3-1 Houston in the 7th inning. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Scroogey just missing.
Oh, he got a good one. Got a great shot of it right there. You saw that ball break down and in to Poole just off the inside quarter.
The 2-2 delivery is fouled away again. Crowd responding to a nice catch in the box seats. The crowd today is 52,339. So the Dodgers, for the 2nd time in history, over the 3 million mark. Almost 3.2 this year. The 2-2 delivery is a Scroogey hit foul. Count holding. That's Steve Howe, who has pitched brilliantly for the Dodgers in his rookie season, in the pen. As we look ahead, when the Dodgers bat in the bottom of this inning, the pitcher is due up 4th. Breaking ball, tapped foul. And so the count stays at 2-2.
Now you watch people like Terry Poole and this Houston Astro ball club made up of the same type of hitters. Not going to hit a lot of long balls for you, but watch the bat control and the bat action by Poole. And a couple of tough pitches to handle, but he's got a piece of them.
3-2 the count. Jerry Royce, his job was done yesterday. What a year he had. Oh, 18 wins. Guess he's a comeback or a shoe-in for the Comeback Player of the Year award. 18-6 he wound up. And Poole is on. So Terry aboard. Poole has now drawn 3 walks today to go with a double. And Enos Cabell the batter.
Al, you remember that game we did in Cincinnati when the Dodgers swept that series, that game that Royce pitched? What a performance he had against Cincinnati in that game.
Gave the Dodgers
had to reach back every once in a while, a little extra in the later innings for the fastball. It was there. Really responded. Big win for the Dodgers at that time.
Been a key man all season long. Here's Cabell, as you can see, not the finest of afternoons for the Astro third baseman. That's a strike. 0-1. Our playoff coverage beginning on Tuesday. Keith Jackson, Howard Cosell, Don Drysdale bringing you the National League playoffs. I'll be in Kansas City and joined there by Jim Palmer of the Orioles. And A's manager Billy Martin will also be with us in our coverage of the American League Series beginning on Wednesday afternoon.
He's all nervous about working with you.
You think so?
Yeah, I talked to him yesterday.
Is he going to pick up a couple of checks, you think, along the way?
He said the only thing I'm concerned about is wearing my cowboy hat.
Bouncing ball foul. And the count 0-2. That's going to be interesting. We'll hear from Billy Martin.
I tell you, he's got some great ideas for that Oakland ball club next year, Al.
What a job he did this year.
Finishing second.
Incredible.
Really
that team was terrible last year. I mean, they were awful.
Pitched Bob Lacey in a game, his first major league start yesterday in Milwaukee. He shut out Milwaukee 4-0. Ricky Henderson, a big year, 100 stolen bases.
0-2 pitch is outside, and the count 1-2 on Enos Cabell.
I like watching that club play, Al. I really do. They run, they hit and run. He's got that kind of a club. That's a Billy Martin kind of a ball club, and they're going to do well.
They make the same kind of improvement next year, and they'll be in the playoffs. But he won't have to worry about working as a commentator. He'll be in the dugout.
You betcha.
1-2 the count. 1 out. Poole at first base. Houston leading 3-1 in the 7th inning. Valenzuela missing away, and the count 2-2.
Almost looked that time, excuse me, Al, it almost looked like that time they expected Poole to be running because Valenzuela hasn't missed by that much since he came on.
Right, I was wondering if it looked like he threw the type of pitch of throwing a pitch out,
right.
But Fergie wasn't going out with it. 2-2 the count. Hit in the air to right field. He missed the pitch outside there. Mickey Hatcher will make the catch. And the runner retreats to first. Now that time, they did Fergie for a pitch out, and Valenzuela threw a strike. They've got to get their signals straight here.
Well, he's appearing in his 9th game, Al, and it happens many times when you get a new guy in a ball club and you go over the signs with him. Watch this. Now watch Ferguson jump out. This is a pitch out. Watch where the ball ends up. Hittable. Oh, that's tough on a catcher. It really is. You're looking for that ball outside. The runner was going. The pitch is low and inside. It gets by everybody.
Joe Morgan. 0-1 the count.
The old pitch outside now, we used to hold a fist. That's the easiest. That's the easiest thing to see. You start going with different finger signs for a pitch out, 3 of the same thing, 3 2s, 3 1s, whatever. It confuses guys sometimes. You stick the old fist down there and say, that's it, I got it.
Keep it simple. 0-1 the count. 2 down, Poole at first, and Morgan takes high. The Kansas City season is over. Royals, of course, in the playoffs against the Yanks. George Brett has ended the year hitting .390. And Reggie Jackson has ended the season hitting an even .300. Throw to first. They've got him picked off. The throw down to second. Not in time there. They had him easily. Terry Poole got caught leaning the other way, and Garvey's throw down to Thomas was too late to nail him.
And a rather leisurely throw that time by Garvey, Al. They had him dead to rights. Garvey took that throw. Watch the backhanded play by Garvey and watch where his throw comes from. Al, you're looking at the runner. All Poole can do is set sail for second. He did. There's the high throw pulled down by Thomas, and Poole's in.
So 1-1 on Morgan, and the Astros trying to pick up another run. That's a Scroogie for a strike, and the count is 1-2. Morgan 0 for 3 today. Popped up, right center. Lopes going out. Hatcher a long way to go. Here comes Guerrero, and it's Pedro making the catch. So that one became a tad dramatic. In the 7th, no runs, no hits. Leave 1 through 6.5. Still, Astros 3, Dodgers 1. Tommy Lasorda, again, starting to run out of time, but he was running out of time on Friday. And they came through. Garvey gave him a 2-1 lead in the 4th inning yesterday, and they held on for the victory. And now the Dodgers with 9 more outs remaining as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Again, the situation, an Astro win, and they are in. They clinch the West, go to Philadelphia, game 1 Tuesday night. The Dodgers win. We have 1 game to decide the National League Western Division Championship. It would take place here tomorrow. We would have it for you on ABC at 4 Eastern and 1 Pacific. Here is Pedro Guerrero. Guerrero, Ferguson, and Thomas facing Joe Sambito, who has set down the 4 men he has faced and gotten 5 outs out of the 4 because he came on to face the pinch hitter, Hatcher, in the 5th inning and got Mickey to hit into a double play.
And 52,000 plus strong here today, Al, trying to rally the Dodgers here in the 7th inning.
The Dodgers contending almost to a man that the crowd had a tremendous effect on them Friday night as Doug Harvey comes back behind the plate. Crowd responding in the 9th, and Say answering their prayers, and then Ferguson hitting 1 out of the 10th inning. Bottom of the 7th, Sambito's first pitch, a strike on the outside corner, 0-1.
Yeah, any player, Al, that tells you the crowd doesn't juice them up when you're playing at home, especially a packed house crowd. It really does get your adrenaline going.
Here's the 0-1 delivery. Outside, and the count is 1-1.
That's part of them here at Dodger Stadium. Jammed up.
Those of you watching Philadelphia, Montreal, welcome to Dodger Stadium. Joe Sambito working on Pedro Guerrero, and the 1-1 pitch is looped and off the glove of Landestoy and out into right field for a base hit. So Guerrero with a leadoff single here in the 7th inning. Landeskog in at second base in place of Joe Morgan, who made the last out in the top of the inning. Here it is again.
One more time. High breaking ball from Zambito, and Landeskog just getting a glove on the ball, but he can't hold it. And the Dodgers have the leadoff batter on again.
Houston is leading 3-1 in the bottom of the 7th inning. The tying run now at the plate, Joe Ferguson. And the pitch missing for a ball. 1-0 the count. The Astros with 2 runs in the 2nd inning. Added 1 in the 4th. Dodgers got a run in the 5th. Then Zambito came on to work out of a 2-on, 1-out jam. As you look at Tom Lasorda, Guerrero has given the Dodgers a leadoff single here in the 7th. The crowd going wild right now as Zambito deals 1-0 and Fergie swings and misses. 1-1. Vern Rule was the starting pitcher for Houston. Rule had cut his finger the other day, needed 2 stitches. The stitches broke apart. He came out in the 3rd. The Dodgers starter Verhoeven left the game in the 2nd inning. Now it's Zambito against Valenzuela. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Low. 2-1 the count on Ferguson. Gerald Thomas is on deck, and then we get to the pitcher's spot. The Dodgers have Steve Howe in the bullpen, and we'll see whose name Lasorda comes up with when we get down to spot number 9. Ferguson, the 7th place hitter. Token throw to first. Guerrero was not straying very far. The crowd now responding to every twitch. Again a move over there.
You got to wonder, Al, in situations like this with Zambito, big game, biggest game ever for him. Working behind in the 6th, although he worked a 1-2-3 inning.
2-2. Blew it fine. Good fastball.
Good fastball off the outside corner on Ferguson that time. He got a big strikeout to Garvey. 3-2 in the 6th when he threw him that breaking ball for his only strikeout. Got the big double play ball, throwing 1 pitch to Hatcher in the 5th inning. And the Dodgers 5th.
Guerrero held on by Howe. And Pedro almost did not get back.
There it is again. Pickoff attempt, almost just getting back in time. The tag by Howe up around the elbow a bit late.
There was some almost momentary suspension as he just started to make his move back to the bag.
See what, I guarantee you what Tom Lasorda just said. Where's he going? No place to go.
And again, Guerrero taking maybe a 2-step lead. He's not going anywhere. You don't think?
No way he should be off, Al, that far. Not the previous attempt, but the one before where they almost picked him off. There's no place to go, trailing 3-1.
And not with Ferguson at the plate.
No,
sir. That a lot. 2-2 pitches outside. 3-2 the count.
Well, they're standing here at Dodger Stadium, part of them anyway. Tommy Lasorda trying to rally the troops, and they are standing now here in Dodger Stadium.
They rise almost as one. Incredible scene. They're all on their feet. The 3-2 pitch to Ferguson is lined to left field. Cruz was playing deep, and it's a base hit. Joe Ferguson is singled to left field. Jose Cruz was out near the warning track. First and second. Joe Ferguson delivering a base hit on the 3-2 pitch. Here it is again.
Upstairs, a high fastball, Al. There you saw it, almost up around the letters. And as you said, Cruz playing very, very deep. Coming on now to grab it on one hop. The Dodgers, but the tying runs on. Nobody out. Guerrero leaving from first on that base hit, hesitating momentarily. Now he sees the ball drop, and he's on. Big turn, but wisely holding.
So runners at first and second, and nobody out. Ferguson has his palm extended skyward.
He may be asking for a pinch runner,
yeah,
Al.
as if to say, are you going to pinch run for me? But Lasorda says no. He's the tying run. Thomas at the plate. The Astros expecting Darrell to bunt. He squares, and he takes low for a ball. 1-0 the count.
Bill Verdon. Last pitch to Thomas. Verdon said, I thought it was. Talking about a strike.
Guerrero at second and Ferguson at first. Thomas lays one down foul. 1 ball and 1 strike on Darrell. A lot of things going through Lasorda's mind right now. Fergie thought they were going to put in a pinch runner, but Tommy obviously has other ideas. He can go to Rudy Law as a possible pinch runner. Gary Weiss, a rookie, but apparently in Tommy's mind, he sees a situation somewhere down the line to go to those two.
Nobody out here, too, Al. Maybe with 1 out, he may have went to the pinch runner, but nobody out. And it's 1-1 to Thomas.
The 1-1 to Thomas is bunted toward third. Cabell has to field it and throw to first for the out. The sacrifice works. Right down the line. Cabell could not afford to gamble to hope that it would roll foul. He had to make the play. It goes 5-4, runners at second and third.
Exactly, Al. Bunted beautifully by Thomas as he takes a high five from Lopes. Here is one more time now. Right down the line. And Cabell on the pickup, not taking a chance. They get the out at first. The tying runs are on. Can't load them up. They made the play on Thomas and Mel Wright. The Astros pitching coach heading out to the mound.
Also, Manny Mota will come up as the pinch hitter for Valenzuela. Wright going to the mound with runners at second and third and 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Manny Mota retired after the 1979 season, became the Dodgers' first base coach, was reactivated when we went into September. The most proficient pinch hitter in big league history with 149 career pinch hits. 2 for 6 this season, including a game-winning single in the game against the Giants 2 weeks ago. The Astro infield can afford to play back. They can give up the run. They lead by 2 to get the out. So a grounder to short or seconder to the first baseman Howe would score a run.
Really a scene here, Al. These Dodger fans standing.
Zambito working on Mota. Manny fouls it back. 0-1 the count. His career stats look like that against almost everybody.
Wow. A little tribute to this guy, Al.
Mota.
Game of this magnitude. Tommy Lasorda.
Manny is 42 years old. Zambito ready with the 0-1 pitch to Mota. 3 runs, 5 hits, and no errors for the Astros. 1 run, 8 hits, and 1 error for the Dodgers, and it was a costly one by Hooten.
Oh, what a confrontation, Al. Greatest pinch hitter in baseball, 42 years old, against the youngster Zambito.
It fouled, and he's hitting for a 19-year-old pitcher.
That's right.
Youth will be served since when?
That's right.
Guerrero at third. Ferguson at second. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count.
Talk about the heat on the hitter. You talk about the heat on the pitcher. How about some heat on Doug Harvey? Bill Verdon, Joe Morgan, who left the game, placed by Rafael Landisco on the bench now.
Good pitch to Mota. It's hit to right field. It's a base hit. It will score 1 run, and Ferguson will be held at third as the throw is not cut off, and Mota goes to second. didn't cut the throw off and should have. So the go-ahead run is at second. Burton's going to the mound, and Sambito will be gone. That's the second visit. It's 3-2 Astros.
I just can't believe that Howe didn't cut that throw off, Al. It was right on target, perfectly over the cutoff man's head. Here it is one more time now. Line drive base hit by Mota on a fastball from Sambito. Now watch the throw from Poole in right field. Watch the throw. There's Howe. He's got to cut it off. Mota going all the way to second, and Ferguson holding at third. Now the Dodgers will send a pinch runner for Ferguson. There's Lasorda, the reaction of Tommy Lasorda on the base hit by Manny Mota. Oh, you talk about dramatics. Bill Burton at the mound. The pitching change is being made. I believe it's Frank LaCourte coming on to pitch.
Both he and Dave Smith in the bullpen. And LaCourte will be coming on in relief. Now there's Mota. His job is done as a hitter, so he goes back to the coaching lines at first. Don Sutton is the designated first base coach when Manny pinch hits. Look at this thing.
I'll tell you. It's great.
This is really, it's unbelievable. You've got Manny Mota out of the first base coaching box at age 42. That's his 150th career pinch hit. I can't imagine any of them being any necessarily bigger than this one.
Again, Al, there's the relay. The throw not cut off by Howe and Ferguson at third. Ferguson went back to the Dodger dugout. There was a Dodger runner at third, but Ferguson has been sent back out. There's only one out. Runners at second and third. There's a pinch runner for Mota at second. Well, you got to wonder, Al, when Ferguson was at first base asking for the pinch runner. There's Sambito leaving. I don't believe he would have scored, though. The throw was perfect. And Howe thinking that Ferguson would have scored as he talks things over with Danny Ozark at third.
You also, I think, witnessed a sight that may have been a first in Major League history. A pitcher comes out of the game and has a conversation with the first base coach who's just gotten the hit to knock him out of the game. As Sambito left the mound, it's almost as if to say to Manny, I don't believe you. You're 42. Retire already, would you? Davey Lopes will be coming up with a tying run at third and the go-ahead run at second. Frank LaCourte into pitch here in the seventh inning. The Dodgers scrapping from behind again. Houston on top 3-2. Red Adams, a word with Lasorda. LaCourte's done a fine job this season, especially early on for Houston. 8-4 with 11 saves. It's been a long weekend for Bill Burton so far, a very long one. Joe Ferguson has come out as they go to the pinch runner, Rudy Law. There he is. So Law is running at third, and Gary Weiss is the pinch runner at second for Manny Mota. There's Weiss, rookie, called up when the rosters were expanded. And Davey Lopes, the batter. Now let's see how the Houston infield aligns. There it is. Cabell at third, shallow. Reynolds back at short. Landeskog back at second. And Howe is up at first. Davey Lopes is 1 for 2 plus a walk. Law at third, Weiss at second, 1 out in the seventh inning. Lopes, it's a bouncer to third. Cabell looks Law back. He almost trapped him off and gets the out. Law started to break in and then had to dart back to third as Cabell throws out Lopes, 2 down.
Boy, LaCourte got away with a high breaking ball that time, Al, up around the letters. Lopes hit it right at Cabell, looked Law back to third, and then got Lopes. One more time. Watch this high breaking ball. There it is, almost up around the letters, but Lopes hit it right at Cabell. Looks the runner back to third and throws out Lopes. Boy, what a series.
Mickey Hatcher is due up. They brought Hatcher in when they made the switch before to face the left-hander. Now, Mickey, a right-handed batter, has not emerged. I would imagine maybe Johnstone would be the guy, and it will be Jay. There is Jay Johnstone coming up to hit for Mickey Hatcher, who had hit for Rick Monday in the 5th inning.
Oh, this is a beautiful series, Al. It really is.
It's been great.
You don't like this stuff. I just, you look around this stadium, Al, and almost per fan here standing. And the dramatic pinch hit by Manny Mota. Just get your adrenaline going. I don't care. Houston, Dodger fan, whatever.
Been an incredible weekend. A reminder, World News tonight with Sam Donaldson will be seen immediately following this game, except on the West Coast. Jay Johnstone is the batter. Runners at second and third and 2 down. 3-2 Astros in the 7th inning. Frank LaCourte to the plate. Low. 1-0. Pitch in there. 1-1. Frank LaCourte had some early promise as a Brave. Spent several years in the Atlanta system. Never really developed. He's really come on, though, this season. He's put it all together in 1980. Been a key man for the Astros. 2-1.
Well, the same mold of a Joe Sambito as you look at Law, the runner at third. He's the tying run. And the lead run, Weiss at second. But LaCourte, here's Bill Verdon. Houston still leads 3-2. LaCourte and Sambito, both power type pitchers, Al. Excellent fastball, both of them.
The 2-1 delivery. Inside. 3-1. Dusty Baker is on deck. There he is. They're loaded. Jay Johnstone is at first. Gary Weiss is at second, and Rudy Law is at third, and Dusty Baker, a man who's had his best year, a man a lot of people think should be not only the Dodgers MVP, but maybe the league's MVP, though Mike Schmidt should have a lock on that, I would think. Baker up in the 7th with the bases loaded. 2 down. Dusty is 1 for 3. A strike. 0-1.
Al, after missing the Johnstone with the hard stuff, Al, he came right back with a breaking ball. There's Law, the runner at third, the tying run. Weiss at second. Johnstone at first.
Popped up in foul ground. Ashby coming all the way back, fighting the sun, has it. So LaCourte comes out of the pen to do the job. And in the inning, the Dodgers a run, 3 hits. Those of you watching Philadelphia-Montreal, back to Olympic Stadium. We go to the top of the 8th inning. The Astros leading the Dodgers 3-2. Houston trying to wrap it up in the National League West. The Dodgers trying to finish a scheduled 3-game series with a victory to force a divisional playoff tomorrow. There's your new pitcher, Steve Howe, 4th Dodger pitcher of the day. The rookie coming in here. New battery, there is Steve Yeager. He takes over for Joe Ferguson. Yeager is batting in the 7th spot. Jay Johnstone, who hit for Mickey Hatcher, stays in the game, bats second, plays right. Jose Cruz, Cesar Cedeno, and Art Howe in the 8th inning. 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Cruz is 0 for 3. Foul back. 0-1 the count.
When you talk about the youngsters and the veterans in this game, Al, here's another one. Steve Howe. Done such an outstanding job for the Dodgers this year. Say he may be a little bit tired now. He's really worked a lot.
Popped up. Near the plate. Yeager is there. 1 down.
Al, you've watched this Dodger club for so many years. I don't know, it seems that every spring they would come up with some hard-throwing pitcher or a new switch hitter. Every spring, it seemed. Some new guy joined the ball club, threw BBs, or could switch hit. Steve Howe, another one.
Dodgers have been noted for, among other things, for their farm system, the way they develop their players. It's not by accident either. Scientific method, and it's a method that has been emulated by a lot of clubs. Cesar Cedeno, 1 for 3. 0-1 the count. Here's Johnstone, Jay in right field. One out, bases empty. The Astros trying to hold on. They got 2 in the second, 1 in the fourth. The Dodgers with single runs in the 5th and 7th. The 0-1 to Cedeno is fouled away. 0-2. Cesar almost coming out of his shoes.
I was just going to say, Al, if they say Howe is tired, he doesn't appear to be very tired. Good fastball. Howe's next.
No relation. Oh, we're missing his Gordy.
Don't say missing. He may be here.
Yeah, could be. If Moda is, why not Gordy? 0-2 the count on Cedeno. 1 out, bases empty. To center field, Guerrero got a late start. Here he comes, and it drops in. Johnstone picks it up and gets it back in. So again, as has been the case in the day games here, Guerrero coming in, not quite sure how far. And as it turned out, Johnstone wound up closer to the ball, though it was not Jay's play.
May have been a tough play for Guerrero anyway after the long run, but he broke back, as Al said.
Again, we welcome those of you watching the Phillies and the Expos. 8th inning now with 1 out. Cedeno at first base. Art Howe is the batter. Howe has sacrificed. He reached on an error on that play. Grounded out, flied out, 0 for 2. Cedeno goes, and it's fouled away. So they go hit and run, and the count is 0-1. Bill Burden. Burden has managed a divisional winner before. He was with the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1972. And in that playoff series, he had the lead in the 5th game going into the 9th inning, 3-2. And that was the series in which Johnny Bench hit the home run in the 9th inning to tie it. And the late Bob Moose threw a wild pitch to enable the then young and unproven George Foster to score from third with the run that gave the Reds the pennant. The 0-1 delivery is fouled away, and the count is 0-2.
Howe a little upset at himself. Al, he had a good pitch to hit that time. Fastball upstairs to drive to right field, and he fouled it back. Cedeno not running that time. All the action in this game has turned toward the Dodgers, Al. It was all Houston in the early innings. Bunting, stealing bases. Last couple of innings, the Dodgers.
0-2 pitch coming up. Got him looking. So Art Howe may be looking location that time. Gets one on the inner half of the plate, and down he goes.
Well, if he's looking outside, watch Steve Howe's fastball. Yeager's got the target inside quarter, and he's got it, says Doug Harvey. Big out, big strikeout.
So 2 down, and Alan Ashby. Ashby, the base hit in the 2nd to drive in a run, a base hit in the 4th inning, and then scored what right now is the run that's the difference in this game, and struck out. 2 for 3. Oh, look at Cedeno. Still tempting him. Cesar was moving back that time. Good move by Howe as he came to the plate. Cesar was retreating. 0-1.
Dodger outfield swung around toward the right side for Ashby. Al against Howe. They don't figure him to pull that ball. Dusty Baker well off the line in left field. He's way off the line. Guerrero shades toward right center, and the right fielder Johnstone only about 40 feet off the line. Want to give Ashby anything off speed to pull.
There goes Cedeno. Good jump, but the ball's hit in the air to center field. We think it should be routine for Guerrero, but nothing is these days. However, he does make the catch. So in the 8th inning for the Astros, no runs, 1 hit, leaves Cedeno at first through 7 1/2 as Guerrero lets out a sigh of relief. It's 3-2 Houston. Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. Al Michaels and Bob Uecker with you. The final day of the regular season, maybe. If the Dodgers win, we'll go at it again tomorrow in a single-game divisional playoff, which will be on the air at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific time. Right now, the Dodgers need a run to tie as Steve Garvey gets set to lead things off. New first baseman for the Astros is Dave Bergman as we go to the 8th inning. Garvey getting set to face Frank LaCorte. So Steve on his way up, Say and Guerrero to follow. The Astros on top, 3-2. Steve Garvey, 3 hits yesterday. Garvey 1 for 3 today, a bunt single in the 2nd inning. That was his 200th hit of the year. Frank LaCorte ready to work. Curve missing away. 1-0 the count. Dodgers have 9 hits today, all singles. The Astros have 6, just 1 extra base hit, a double by Poole. The 2-1 pitch is high, ball 3. 3-1 on Garvey.
And LaCorte trying to reach back for a little extra out. Behind in the countdown, 3-1. Morgan, Burden. Let's see if Ashby goes back to the fastball here, Al. Garvey, I would say, sitting on a fastball. Let's see.
Rounding to third. Cabell has to take a wicket hop, and it gets away from him. So Enos Cabell started in initially, gets short hop. Tough infield in L.A., and Garvey is aboard. They give Cabell the error.
Indecision by Cabell on this ball hit by Garvey. Took a step in, Al, then backed up. He wanted to take it on the short hop, then backed up a step, and that ball got that extra hop on him. And it's going to be an error charge to Cabell. Tying run on for the Dodgers.
So Ron Say is the batter. Say is 0 for 3. Now, Ronnie out. Have a look at Danny Ozark. Cabell is even with a bag at third. Say tries to bunt and misses for a strike. 0-1. So Lasorda trying to get the tying run to second. On deck is Guerrero. Also, keep in mind now the Dodgers have gone deep into their bench. We've already seen Moda. He's gone. Hatcher's gone. Monday started. He's gone. Ferguson's out of the game. So the bench has thinned.
Rudy Law is a pinch runner out.
That's right. Law gone. White, the rookie, gone. He's mainly utilized in pinch running roles anyway. Oh, 1 pitch is a pitch out. Nothing doing. 1-1. It's not a bad call because you want to kind of take a look at what the batter has in mind.
Exactly right, Al. And I was just going to mention Cabell playing even with the bag at third. Would have a tough time to make a play on Garvey at second.
And Say bunts foul, so the count is 1-2.
Well, that's the second high fastball he went after on a check swing bunt. His first pitch that he got from LaCorte up around the letters, it was a strike. That pitch, a high fastball upstairs again, and he fouled it back. Now the infield drops back.
How How many
see if
times
the
do you
Dodgers stay with a bunt.
How many times do you see it happen? It's often the guy can't lay down a bunt, and all of a sudden has to hit away with 2 strikes and comes up with a big hit.
Yep.
Here's the 1-2 to say. Whoa, 2-2.
A little bit high with a breaking ball that time from McCourty. Al Say's going to hit away, 2-2. Dodgers trailing by 1. Garvey at first.
The 2-2 pitch. Pop, foul, and back out of play. Where's the antacid, huh?
Yes, sir. Both sides.
The 2-2 to say. 3-2. A full count on Ron. Nobody
Houston
out.
bullpen. Excuse me, I was going to say the Houston bullpen quiet. Up to McCourty right now.
The count. Garvey goes, and Say hits a bouncer foul. That's a foul ball. It's off his foot. So the count remains 3-2, and Ron, already hobbled by a hamstring pull, now has a foot to think about too.
Al, you remember back when that bunt was made by Thomas on the third baseline that Cabell made the play on. It was bunted in between the chalk line and the grass, which is only about a half a foot. And Cabell made the play knowing that that ball would not roll foul. That ball that was hit by Say, the third base side of the infield and right side, that ball comes back in toward the mound. Here it is again now. Say fouls it off, and watch this ball hug the inside. It stays in fair territory, almost hitting the bag to Cabell, but foul.
When you see a ball travel that far after somebody fouls it off his foot.
Not a straight line.
Ooh. So Ron walking off, trying to ease the sting. Bill Bueller, Dodger trainer, out there with him. McCourty taking the extra time to get in some throws. Say will come back up with a count 3-2. Garvey was going on that 3-2 pitch. So a full count. Guerrero will be next. Houston 3, the Dodgers 2 in the 8th inning. Classic series. This has really been a beauty.
Beautiful, really has.
Well, watch Garvey. He goes. The 3-2 pitch is fouled straight back. Look out. Here it comes, Uke. He's got it. Uecker makes the catch. What a play. Bob Uecker, who couldn't catch him when they counted, makes the grab here. I'm so proud. I'm proud of you, pal.
Right here, right there. No problem. You kidding me?
My guy.
Had that baby wired.
I figured it out now. You shouldn't have used the glove. The 3-2 pitch again to Say. Garvey goes. The pitch is pop foul back out of play. One of those odd fouls where you see a right-handed hitter hit one off his left shoulder and behind him.
He really fought it off, Al. Garvey heading back to the bag. I looked over the railing here. You know, standing downstairs, Rob Reiner, one of our good friends. The first guy. He started ripping me right away.
Full count on Say. There goes Garvey again. The 3-2 pitch is high in the air to deep left center field. Back goes Cedeno. Gone. send a man up to bunt. He bunts foul twice. He has to swing away with 2 strikes and hits 1 out. It's 4-3 Los Angeles.
Dramatic. Here it is one more time as Al said he was sent up to bunt. A Frank LaCourte high fastball. And Say got it all. Cedeno with a token look at the wall. It is gone. 4-3 Los Angeles. Wow.
Ron Say has just hit his 28th home run of the season. Pedro Guerrero at the plate. The place has gone berserk. The pitcher's low for a ball.
Oh, I don't believe it, Al. I really don't. This whole series between these two clubs all year long here at Dodger Stadium. A run each time.
Guerrero popping it up. Cabell and Reynolds are both there, and it's Enos Cabell waiting and making the catch, and there's 1 away. Now, when the Astros come up in the ninth, they're at the bottom of the order. They're 8-9-1. Reynolds and Poole. Here's Say's homer again.
Here it is again. 3-2 fastball. Upstairs, and Say got it all. Oh, he ripped it. Home run number 28 for the Dodgers third baseman, and Al talked about it earlier. Sent up to bunt. Missing 2 bunt attempts, and ends up with a big home run.
Steve Yeager has just taken a strike. Bill Burton. Got to be thinking, what does it take? The 0-1 pitch is a swing and a miss, and the count is 0-2. Remember, if there's a divisional playoff, you'll see it tomorrow. 4 Eastern, 3 Central, 1 Pacific. The pitchers would be Joe Niekro and Dave Goltz. 1-2 on Yeager.
Al, you go back to game 1 in this series. The error committed by Landeskog at second base on that tapper hit by Baker that led to a run. And the error by Cabell on the bouncer hit by Garvey.
Hit to left for a base hit. Steve Yeager, his first trip to the plate today. The Dodgers have a man on with 1 out. And Darryl Thomas coming up. Mel Wright going to the mound. Wright visiting LaCourte. World News tonight, Sunday, with Sam Donaldson. Will be seen following the conclusion of this game, except on the West Coast. And it will be seen at a later time on the coast. In the bullpen, Dave Smith. It's going to be LaCourte, though. Wright doesn't make the changes. He's just out there to try to get Frank settled down, which is no easy accomplishment under the circumstances. Darryl Thomas at the plate. Thomas 2 for 2 plus a sacrifice. Look out. Foul ball. Darryl almost stepping right into a breaking pitch.
It was a breaking ball upstairs that time, and LaCourte heading right down toward the home plate area. Al, he's upset at the home run given up by Say, but that pitch was high and tight, but a breaking ball.
Houston and LA. It's been a great season series between these two teams. The last 6 games have been decided by 1 run. Dodgers winning by 1 Friday, by 1 yesterday, leading by 1 today. The 0-1 to Thomas is high. 1-1 the count. Two and 1 now. The Astro dugout. I tell you, they kept talking about, we only have to win 1 out of 4. And the way things are going right now, it may be 1 out of 1.
I tell you, Al, win, lose, or draw, they've had an outstanding year. They really have. Made a believers out of a lot of people in baseball. They really have.
2-2. This would be a bitter one to swallow, though, if they don't
Well, it really would, but a lot of
with it.
fans, I think, Al, picked the Dodgers to win this thing from get-go, from day one, but it's been the Houston Astros battling throughout the year. Cincinnati knocked out of it. The Astros still in it and battling here today to stay alive. They, of course, lead by a game, as you see Darryl Thomas going to some, that's a pine tar substance in a can. Stickum is what they call it. Should they lose today, still with a chance tomorrow, but they still got a chance in the 9th inning. Not over yet.
2-2 the count on Thomas.
Boy, it's great to play at home, Al. Finish a series like this.
4-3 Dodgers. 1 out. Yeager at first base. McCourty deals 2-2, and Thomas fouls it away. The Dodgers are trying to stay alive, trying to force it to a one-game divisional playoff, of which there has never been a divisional playoff in National League history since they went to the divisional setup in '69. If the Dodgers hold on and win, one game means it all tomorrow in the West as Thomas fouls it away. We would be on the air tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern time. Again, the pitchers would be Joe Niekro and Dave Goltz. Championship series getting underway in Tuesday. Philadelphia will be home hosting either the Dodgers or the Astros. Kansas City and New York, of course, already set in the American League. The league championship series commencing there on Wednesday in KC. Thomas swings and misses, so Darryl goes down on strikes. And there are 2 gone now in the 8th inning. Steve Howe will hit for himself. And there's the graphic tomorrow. The Dodgers are certainly hopeful of that one. And the Astros, they'd rather be on a plane to Philadelphia. Steve Howe hitting for himself here. So Lasorda, he wants Howe to pitch the 9th inning when again the Astros have Reynolds due up first in the pitcher's spot and then Terry Poole. A strike. 0-1 the count. Dave Johnstone foreground. Tommy Lasorda back there with Monty Basgall. Breaking ball over, and the count on Howe is 0-2.
Ever since that 7th inning, Al, when the Dodgers sent Manny Mota up to pinch hit, he delivered the run-scoring single. It's been bedlam here in Los Angeles.
1 ball and 2 strikes the count.
Astros actually got out of a jam in the 7th. The Dodgers had the lead runs on after the base hit by Mota, but worked out of it. Took the 3-2 lead into the 8th. That's gone.
Yeager at first, and Howe hits a bouncing ball to short. Reynolds goes to Landeskog for the 4th, and the 8th inning is over, but the Dodgers come up with 2 after the error. Say hits a home run, and at the end of 8 complete innings of play, Los Angeles leading Houston 4-3. Back after this match. Today's hero, there he is. He was Friday night's semi-hero along with Joe Ferguson. Yesterday, Garvey and Roy stole the show. Today, it's been Mr. Say. 2-run homer in the 8th. Dodgers leading 4-3. Changes for the Dodgers. Before we get to that, here's another look at Say's home run.
3-2 fastball from LaCourty upstairs. Say looking, and he got it all. Sent this place into bedlam. Cedeno gave a token look, then headed again for the wall, but that ball well out of here to make it 4-3.
For the Dodgers, it will be Pepe Frias taking over at shortstop. And they move Darryl Thomas. There's Frias. They move Thomas out to center field to get Guerrero out of there. Pedro's in a long series. There's Darryl. His best position is center, and that's where he is. And here is Jeff Leonard pinch hitting for Reynolds. Gary Woods is out on deck. He will pinch hit for LaCourty, and then Poole is due up 3rd in the inning. So 22-year-old Steve Howe, one of the prime candidates for Rookie of the Year in the National League, trying to lock it up here in the 9th inning as Leonard, a former Dodger, swings and misses. 0-1. Leonard came up through the Dodger system, traded to Houston, had a great year in '79 and a bad year in '80. 0-2 the count.
Leonard put in the outfield last year, Al. You remember the incident that put Cedeno at first base. That's what put Cedeno at first base, made him very unhappy last year. As a matter of fact, he went on to say that he would not play in the infield in 1980. Wanted to get back in center field as you look at Tommy Lasorda. And Leonard now on as a pinch hitter. Dodger dugout, 4-3, ninth inning, Manny Mota, who put the charge in the Dodgers in the 7th with a run-scoring pinch single.
Hit in the air and curling foul. Johnstone going over, all the way over. Does he make the catch? We're waiting for the sign. Yes! What a play! Oh. Look at this. This whole thing is becoming surrealistic, what's going on here this weekend.
Fantastic, Al. One more time. In the air to right field, Johnstone never giving up. He hits the railing and hangs on. Ball's a row in the seats. Look at this. In he goes, but he's got it.
Here's Lasorda's reaction.
Watch this. Wow.
Oh.
Red Adams said routine.
One more time.
Look at this.
Tough way to get into the ballpark. One away. Gary Woods, the pinch hitter. Woods hits it to right center field. Johnstone racing in, dives, but can't come up again with a great catch. Woods is on his way to second, stumbles, heads back to first. Frias made a sweep tag at a phantom, and Woods gets back to the bag. So Jay Johnstone trying to come up roses again, and Woods was trapped halfway between first and second and stumbled and had to retreat quickly.
Long run by Johnstone. Here's the diving try. If the ball gets by him, at least a triple for Woods. He knocked it down. Woods had ideas of going to second, and Johnstone retrieving very quickly held him at first.
Times and doubled. One out of the ninth. 4-3 Los Angeles. Poole, broken bat, slow bounder to Davey Lopes, going to second in time there. So they keep the tying run at a scoring position. Great play by Lopes. A risky play in a way. He's got the easy out at first base, but he took the chance at second. So Poole with two down at first base, and Enos Cabell coming up.
Slowly hit ground ball, and as Al said, a good play by Lopes going to Frias at second. They get the force on the lead runner Woods, and Poole is on. The tying run at first, 2 men out. Lopes. We talked earlier about Joe Morgan, the study man on the Houston infield. Here's Davey Lopes with a couple of words for left-hander Steve Howe. 2 men out, ninth inning. Dodgers 1 out away from winding it all up tomorrow afternoon, and we'll have it for you.
Enos Cabell has struck out 3 times, fly to right, made a big error in the 8th inning on the ball hit by Garvey. A chance to atone here. Poole at first, 2 down. 0-1.
Al, in this situation now with the Dodgers on the other side, it might be a different story with the home run bats. Here's Lasorda, 1 out away. Say's 2-run homer. Put him in the lead, but the Astros with Cabell now, who has only homered twice this year, really in a jam. Bill Verdon.
The 0-1 pitch. Line to left center field. Baker racing over, has to play it on a hop. Poole on his way to third, and he's in there as Cabell is aboard to keep things going.
The play
Just
by
like
Lopes.
yesterday.
Yes,
First
sir.
and third, 2 down. Dodgers lead by 1. Here we go again. Landeskog is due up. Remember, Morgan came out of the game. And Raphael took over when Houston had the lead. Landeskog hitting in the 3 spot. Coming up for the first time. Here's Lasorda going to the mound. Dodger bullpen. That's Don Sutton throwing down there, who was the starting pitcher on Friday night. Of course, everybody is in your bullpen right now. Sutton throwing in the pen, and Lasorda out to confer at the mound. Again, the Dodgers trying to force a one-game divisional playoff. They're 1 out away from doing that tomorrow. Houston, if they can come from behind, they go right to Philadelphia to begin the National League Championship Series on Tuesday. Landeskog, and Lasorda's got to know this, Tommy's going to go to the pen. He's hitting .292 against left-handers, only .201 against right-handers.
It's going to be Sutton, I believe.
Yes,
now.
it is.
It's
going to be Sutton. I'm telling you.
What a series. Great series, fans. It really is.
And here's the starting pitcher on Friday night. Don Sutton went 7 innings on Friday night. Pitched very well. Kept the Dodgers in the game. Went 8 innings on Friday, now that I think about it. And here comes Don Sutton, who will finish the season as the Dodgers' earned run average leader and the league's ERA leader, on to get 1 out. Because of the length of today's game, World News Tonight Sunday will not be seen except on the West Coast, and it will be seen at a later time on the coast. What a ball game in Los Angeles. 4-3, the Dodgers on top. The Astros have the tying and go-ahead runs on base. Don Sutton in the pitch. Lasorda and Howe coming off. Sutton making his first relief appearance of the year. He's made only 1 relief appearance in the last 4 years. And he's coming up to face Landeskog, or maybe a pinch hitter. It's going to be Denny Walling, who now comes out of the Astro dugout and is swinging a bat in the on-deck circle. Denny Walling, left-handed batter, will hit for Landeskog.
Well, as we said in the Dodger 8th inning, the Astros weren't finished yet, trailing by 1. Tying run at third. Al said the lead run at first, 2 men out. It's been such an outstanding series. 3-2 in the opener. 2-1 yesterday. 1-run game today. Not over yet. And Don Sutton, for the first time this year, out of the Dodger bullpen.
The Astros got 2 runs in the second and 1 in the third. They led 3-0 as we went to the bottom of the 5th inning. Davey Lopes drove home a run to make it 3-1. The Dodgers got another run in the 7th inning. Manny Mota drove that one in with a single to right to make it 3-2. And then after Cabell made an error on a grounder by Garvey, Ron Cey followed with a home run in the 8th to make it 4-3. So now in the 9th inning, you've got Woods at third. Cabell is at first. That's Terry Poole. Poole running at third, and Cabell at first, and Denny Walling at the plate. Walling hitting an even .300, 3 homers, and 29 runs batted in. Two out. The strike. 0-1.
Starting him out with a breaking ball, Al. Sutton with one of the better breaking balls in baseball. Said work 8 innings on Friday. I'm sure if Sutton couldn't pitch today, Al, if Lasorda said go to the pen, said, look, I can't make it. I'm tired, stiff, threw too much Friday night. He's obviously ready and wants to be a part of it. We talked earlier. Everybody's a part of it now. You got to be.
The strike 1 pitch. Bouncing ball right side. Lopes gathers it in. We'll see you tomorrow. The Los Angeles Dodgers have swept the 3-game series that the schedule maker said would close out the 1980 divisional race. But there's one more game to go as the Dodgers, down by 3 on Friday night, winning on a home run by Ferguson. Garvey's home run the difference yesterday. Cey's home run the difference today. They sweep the 3-game series. The divisional playoff tomorrow to determine the National League's Western Division champion. Ron Cey just going out of your picture and down into the clubhouse. So at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, The Dodgers win it by a score of 4-3. Back after this word from our local station. Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, where 52,339 have just witnessed another come-from-behind win by L.A. There's the line score with the totals. The Dodgers trying to make their way to Philadelphia. The Astros had a chance, of course, to go to Philadelphia, open up the National League playoffs on Tuesday. They came to the ballpark very optimistically today, Youth. They had the bags packed. The luggage was going to be sent to the airport. It'll be one more night in L.A., and tomorrow it'll be interesting. But tomorrow, keep in mind, if Houston, I think, has one advantage on paper, they go with Joe Niekro. Joe Niekro's won 19 games this year. The Dodgers go with an in-and-out Dave Goltz.
Right. It's been tough, although Goltz has pitched well, Al. His last 3 or 4 times out, he's pitched very well. Niekro, I think we should point out, we talked about this at the top of the telecast, is working with 3 days rest tomorrow. But again, he's not the kind of a pitcher that would be bothered that much by 3 days rest because he throws a lot of knuckleballs. But I tell you, I can't remember a more dramatic series, Al, in all my years in baseball. It's been fantastic here. The crowds at Dodger Stadium, the come-from-behind victory. And again, let me say, fans, a lot of credit to this Houston Astros ball club. They haven't quit. They had the tying and the winning run on in the 9th inning before Sutton finally came on to stop them.
They're normally so laid back and so reserved in Los Angeles, and it's among the quieter ballparks, comparatively speaking, but it's been anything but through the 3 games. You had, as I say today, you had 9th inning emotion back in the 3rd inning, and things looked quite desperate for the Dodgers today when they trailed 3-0. Bert Hooton had to come out in the 2nd inning, but they got a great job out of their bullpen. And of course, what made the difference was the home run by Ron Cey as they fought, scrapped from behind, and Cey winds up hitting a 2-run homer in the 8th inning. So Ferguson with a home run on Friday night, and Garvey with a home run in the 4th inning yesterday. That stood up, and the home run by Ronnie Cey today.
The ironic thing, Cey sent up to bunt, Al, as you talked when he was at the plate hitting. He missed the first 2 attempts at a bunt, then took a 3-2 pitch and put the Dodgers on top, and they win it. A big, big ball game, and it all boils down to tomorrow, folks. We'll be with you, too. Ron Cey, the hero today.
Take a look at that home run by Cey one more time.
Here it is, folks. 3-2 fastball from Frank LaCourte upstairs, and Cey nailed him. You'll see Cesar Cedeno in the center give a token look. Now thinking he may have a chance, set sail again, but it's gone. And the Dodgers win it by a score of 4-3. Dramatics. That's good enough for another look. The Dodgers have taken the first 3, and we'll be with you again tomorrow afternoon as you look from a different angle at Ron Cey's 28th home run of the year to win it 4-3.